Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our scenario is Fingerbiter. It was written by Michael Labossiere, and you can find it at the Call of Cthulhu Miskatonic repository at drivethrurpg.com. I am your game master, and this is a long one-shot, 4-hour long shot, and it's the fourth version that we have produced. So, without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Our story begins on a warm summer evening in 1923 in the sitting room of Dr. Clarence Sapien. Earlier today, you each received a card handed to you by a message boy. On one side was an illustration of a hand inked all in black. On the other side, the numbers 730 and the initials CS. What this meant to you was clear. Dr. Sapien was calling a meeting of the Hidden Hand this evening at 7:30. It was not like him to call such an impromptu meeting, so it must be urgent. Arkham is a fairly small town. Not everyone drives. From where you lived, it was an easy walk to his house. You brought an umbrella just in case it started to rain. It had been overcast all day with a little too much humidity in the air. It was summer after all, but June in Massachusetts can be unpredictable. You arrived at his home and you were greeted warmly. No one said anything about the message, as was customary until you had all arrived. After being served light refreshments, everyone stopped talking and focused on the doctor, who was ready to begin. You all noticed he was holding a rather fancy piece of sea green stationery. He stood up and he looked at you all rather intensely.
My friends, thank you so much for coming on such short notice. I apologize for the nature of the message, but this is dire. I received a letter from a very good friend of mine, and the contents shook me deeply. My dear Clarence, it's been quite a while since last we corresponded, and I hope this letter finds you in good health. My dear friend, I need your immediate help. I'm in serious peril. I cannot turn to the local authorities, as they would think me mad and probably have me locked up. What I need is someone with an open mind and a keen eye. In case you didn't know, I'm no longer living in London. I began a personal journey some months ago to conduct genealogical research on my family. This has led me finally to a small village in Dunval, in northern Scotland. My research has been difficult, and now I've met with a terrible accident. At first, I was dismissive of the gravity of my experience, but now I know that the foulness is undeniable. I must ask your help in this matter, for I feel that you are the only one who might save me from this horror. If you can, bring help. Some members of your club who might be able to discover what is happening to me and how to stop it. I'm currently residing in the Ruddy Saul Inn in Dunval. Come quickly, please. Sincerely, Gordon McDougall. My friends, Gordon is an old acquaintance of mine. In our youth, we would play together, peas in the pod, and he has saved my life more than once as hooligans. Yes, I was young once upon a time. Again, normally I would not trouble you, but Gordon is not one prone to exaggerations. And I have not heard from him for a good 4 or 5 years. So for him to so suddenly reach out with such a dire message, I felt that calling an impromptu meeting of the Hidden Hand is in order. Again, I could perfectly understand if you are indisposed and cannot come to help me on this journey to northern Scotland, but I will be going. I owe Gordon that much.
Aye, I say we go out there now.
Right now?
Well, sooner than later.
We'll have to pack first.
Well, that's not too hard.
It's almost like a vacation you're talking about here. I mean, this is a pretty extensive trip, but if it means that much to you, I mean, if one of the hidden hand has to go, we all go, right?
A finger cannot go alone. The
True.
entire hand must go. Having said that, my friend Gordon is from a very well-regarded and very wealthy family in Scotland. So I'm sure he will be able to take care of our expenses and, make sure we're well compensated for our efforts. He's never been one to think too much of money.
See, you should have led with that. Let's go now. This sounds great.
Thank you, my friend Virgil.
Well, I personally, I've always felt like all of you were part of my extended family, and I've said from the beginning that if there's anything you ever need, I was going to be there for you. So all you need to ask, and I will do everything in my power that I possibly have to help you in any way possible.
Abigail, my friend, thank you. Xandor.
Yeah, I'm up for a trip to Scotland, and if we can help your friend out along the way, more's the better.
Thank you.
Now,
You can
it's
count on me,
about
Doc.
7:30 at night, so it's likely you'd want to leave tomorrow. You have a couple of options. You can either drive or you can take the train. If you take-
Scotland?
well, yeah, if you drive, it's going to be a 13 and a half hour drive nonstop. Unless you
Across
stop.
But we will have a car there.
And if you take the train, you're going to take the Flying Scotsman. That takes 14 hours and goes through York, Edinburgh, and Inverness. Then you have to take the Shinlady Highland line to Halhane, another 3 hours, and then you'd have to take a bus to Dunval. So the car is faster.
We should probably do the car.
Aye.
It'll be
Whose car?
safer.
And who's
Honestly, we can drive around our own. Like we don't have to like walk everywhere. We can drive. It'll be nice. But who has a car first?
I would imagine we all have cars. We're all somewhat well off.
Well, with the credit rating that I have, I should have a car.
Yeah, Virgil, you might have a nice sedan that seats 8.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, coming out here with the credit rating of 85.
A big old gangster-looking car.
24 for me.
Cruising through the Highlands in style.
Right. And Virgil, do you drive or do you you have? Drive?
First off, I do have Drive Auto, so I can drive.
Probably you drive.
Not the best, but
Yeah, I'm not a driver myself. I hire people to do that for me.
yeah. So let's just we'll just pack everything, throw a bunch of suitcases in the back for a weekend trip? You think?
Well, I actually do have Drive Auto as well, but mine is 20.
I mean, mine's 20 as well, but
Mine's 40.
hey, you could drive. You drive my car, just don't crash.
Aye, lad. They only
Yeah,
have
it's
one
okay.
eye, but
It's
I've
okay.
still got a good eye for the road.
You have no depth perception.
So I've got a map that shows where the train would go, but it does give you an idea of where you'll be going. So you're going from London through York, Edinburgh, and then Inverness, and then Dunval is way up here at the top.
Oh wow, we're really going all the way up north.
All the way north. Yeah. So it probably will be chillier.
I'll pack my winter coat.
Not too far from that damn lock.
You and that lock, my friend Lloyd. We never really found what you were looking for.
I swear those standing stones are out there somewhere. Not for today, though.
Well, at least this time, hopefully we won't get stuck again.
Aye.
So, not knowing exactly what to prepare for, how do you guys prepare? What do you want to take? And when are you going to leave in the morning?
I'll pack a suitcase worth of just clothes and traveling stuff. A separate bag where I've got my shotgun and lockpicking equipment. Otherwise, I've got my blackjack and revolver on me.
I think I'll still pack, of course, the Derringer, but other than that, I'll just bring my usual sort of medical kit or doctor's kit and some clothes, and that's about it.
Okay. We can probably assume that whatever your profession is, you've got some of that equipment with you, just for each. Just because you tend to, who knows what kind of mysteries you're going to run into.
Maybe like a pair of binoculars or so.
Sure.
I've got a satchel with various crafting equipment in it, writing gear, paper, things of that sort, various knickknacks and doodads for ritualistic things. And of course, then I've got a suitcase full of reference materials, various world religions and mythologies, etc.
Okay. So, unless you have something else you want to suggest, what time are you going to leave in the morning?
Probably want to get going early.
It is 13. Sorry.
13
Say by 9 a.m. or something. Plenty of time to have a good breakfast.
Or, my friends, do we want to leave closer to the evening and then arrive during the day so we have some time to explore? It is did you say it was like a 13-hour drive time?
13 and a half.
Okay, so is that including breaks or like straight?
Well, I'll just say 13.
To be honest with you, Doc, I mean, after a 13 and a half hour drive up there, we're going to probably want to rest and sleep anyway. It's probably better to leave in the morning, arrive at night, have a nice dinner, maybe a few pints, and get a good night's sleep, and then start the very next morning.
That is true, my friend. That is true.
I was a bit worried about the urgency of the letter.
Unless you want to drive all night and then go exploring, I mean, I might have some various herbs and chemicals that can help with that.
Are you guys who's feeling up to drive get into a car at this very second and drive 13 hours? You got
I need like at least an hour to pack.
You need an hour to pack, and we get maybe an hour for food. It's like 7, 8. We leave by 10.
Well, remember, you've already been up all day.
True.
So let us meet tomorrow morning then.
That sounds like the best idea.
So basically what I'm going to tell you is if you leave like at 7, you're going to get there at 8:30 in the evening.
I think that's reasonable.
That sounds pretty good.
And then you could rest. He's at an inn, though, at the Ruddy Sow Inn.
We can get a room there too then. It'd be perfect.
In fact, you might be able to call ahead or contact ahead to see if they have a place where you can stay. Let's say you arrange that. Yes, you do. You speak to a Miss Lucy Connors at the inn over the phone. It takes a bit to get for the phone line to go all the way through, but after you speak to her, she's got rooms for each of you. Unless you want to bunk up and save money.
No.
I think we're fine.
We'll be good.
All right. So the next morning comes. You pack all of your things, and you begin your drive in the morning. Who's driving the car?
I am.
Lloyd.
Okay, so Lloyd, do a drive roll.
That's a 79.
It's gonna scratch the pain.
PK immediately. Nice.
So, for the most part of the day, the drive goes pretty well. But somewhere just after you, it's getting towards afternoon, evening, just as you leave Inverness, the car starts acting a bit, I don't know, maybe it's overheating a bit. And you try taking it slow. You come to a little town. It's actually not that little. It's bigger than I was going to say Arkham. You guys didn't start in Arkham. It's maybe got about 400 people on the sign. The population sign. It's called Halhane. And from there, it's only about 10 miles further on to Dunval. But your car is sputtering a bit. There are a number of open diners in this little town if you want to let the car rest for a while. Or if you want to just keep plugging through. You just don't know how your car is going to be doing.
Is everything okay, Lloyd? The car seems to be.
I don't know what's up with it, lads. It seems to be giving me quite the hell. I think we should spend some time here, let it cool off a bit.
I told you, Virgil, don't buy this Italian trash. You should always buy German.
It was so
I agree.
nice, though.
I agree as well that maybe we should stop for a little bit. And if you boys want to look at the car or anything, perhaps I could head into town a little ways and maybe find a burger joint or somewhere and bring us back some food.
Not a bad idea.
Sounds like a plan. Does anybody have fixed the
Not sure
car?
if they had hamburgers in 1923, but definitely they have.
There'd be
Diner
food
food.
anyway.
Yeah.
We get some
A little
fish
more
chips, wrapped in the newspapers.
Hey, that sounds tasty.
I don't know. This is Scotland. You're probably going to get mutton and
Haggis.
haggis.
I'm definitely going to get some haggis if possible.
That's a given when you're in Scotland.
All right. So you stop for a while. You guys check out the car. You think that it might just be overheating. Put a little more water in the radiator. Give it a little bit of time to cool down. Abigail, you find a place where they're serving food. They don't really have any way to package it up for you to take it back, but it's literally, 50 feet away from where you guys are. So you could just leave the car where you parked it and go
Just come back and tell the others, I found a food place, you can come eat here.
You're going to be delayed at most, an hour. And it's probably, about 7:30 now.
I don't know anything about fixing cars, so I'll go down to the restaurant for sure.
Okay.
Some food will be nice.
All right, and you guys are hungry. So you go into this nice little inn. Halhane is, for the time, 1923, it's a fairly modern town. There's definitely things in the town that seem old, with Scotland. But they've been trying to modernize. There are power lines, so places have power. They publish newspapers, and there's various amenities that you can see. There's actually even a payphone. So we'll assume that you eat. Is there anything in particular? You're going to have haggis? You can have haggis.
So I'm going to chat up the serving staff, ask them a bit about, have you heard about Dunval or Dunval? And hey, what is that like again?
Oh yeah, Dunval. That's about 10 miles from here. Granted, I'm suddenly sounding very Irish, but Scottish. Dunval. It's about 10 miles from here, not very far on. You're looking for various, old structures, castles. There's all over the place.
Oh, it is a old town.
Oh yes, very old, very old. I think there's an old ruin there, a tower that's was either demolished or it, was in a battle and got blown up or something like that. It's just a pile of rubble at this point. But originally, it was the center of town, and they built the town around it. That sort of thing. It's the same in any of these towns around here.
Do you have any fish and chips?
Fish and chips, you must be from London. Of course we got fish and chips. He brings out fish and chips.
I can't stomach haggis.
Well,
No
the
pun-
fish and
no
chips
pun
have been
intended.
stuffed into an animal's stomach, though. So,
Oh,
Stomach for you.
you can't escape haggis. It consumes all food.
Would they have something like bratwurst?
does this look like Germany to you?
We
I don't know.
Sure
They
they-
probably have some sort of
Sure.
sausage.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure
mutton.
they, sure
I'll just
they'd
take
have
mutton.
Sure, they'd have bangers and mash. Yeah.
I mean, they have
Yeah, mutton.
sheep.
It's like we'll
I,
give you the
um,
mutton and pay you to take the mutton.
They have black pudding, that sort of thing too.
Yeah.
Black sausage. Yeah.
And it's some of it's kind of bland, but it's it's a hearty meal.
Beer
Oh yeah, we got
or whiskey.
beer and whiskey.
Oh, we can
It-
go with some Scottish whiskey before we go off on this daring.
We call it
rescue
Scotch.
mission.
All right. Yeah, I'm convinced.
Is there a mechanic?
Up here, they probably just call it whiskey. But
Yeah.
Is there a mechanic in town that might be able to help us out with some troubles with our automobile?
Sure. Yeah. He's probably not going to be there until tomorrow morning.
Oh,
But,
It's a shame.
I mean, it's kind of late. We're
How
going to
far-
be closing.
How far is the walk to Danville?
It's 10 miles.
10 miles. Ugh,
Yeah, you wouldn't probably be wanting to walk it.
true.
But what's wrong with your car?
I think it might be overheating.
it's
more of a-
Italian.
It's more of a luxury vehicle, less of a commuter.
I could give somebody a call, see if they can give you a lift. You're going to Dunval?
Yeah.
Are they expecting you?
Yes, we called ahead.
Let me see if I can find somebody who's willing to take you all over to Dunval if your car's still.
That would be very appreciated. Perhaps we shouldn't leave the car completely unattended, though. So, who should we send
Nobody's
people?
gonna. There's no crime out here.
What they all say. Every town says they have.
Well,
no
maybe a
crime.
little prostitution, but there's not much more than.
His
Right there.
car-
That's
his-
crime.
His car is like a $40,000 fancy Italian thing. Somebody's gonna want it.
Some,
Exactly.
Some people don't have much of an education, and prostitution's about all they have going. We got a doctor. We got some police. The police don't bother the prostitutes.
And I can't imagine why.
They're just working girls. So anyways, if any of you check on your car, you're pretty sure it's cooled down. It's probably not going to give you any trouble. The waitress does have somebody, old Joe Green, if you want to enlist him. He can take you over there in a truck, but then you're going to have to find your way back. They could store the car if you want in the garage.
We probably want to do that. I just didn't want to
Okay.
leave it because I'm like, this is gonna get stolen so hard. I'm gonna come back and some sheep herder's gonna be cruising over the highlands with it.
All
But
right.
yeah, we'll store it.
So, all right. All right. So, are you going to take all of your stuff and put it into Joe Green's truck, and then?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I just have a suitcase in my satchel, so
I'll get
Okay.
me 2 suitcases.
All right. So Abigail and one of you can sit up front, and the others have to sit in the back.
I just have my little knapsack that I keep with me. I keep a few small supplies in, some binoculars, small first aid kit, things like that.
All right. So
Dr. Sapien, do you want to ride up front? I got to see Virgil riding across the Highlands in the back of a pickup truck.
I was hoping you weren't going to say that.
It's just too good. I can't miss it.
That would be appreciated. Thank you.
It's scenic, Virgil.
Oh, my hair is going to get all destroyed.
So you all hop in the back. You all hop in the truck, and Mr. Joe Green is looks like he's probably a farmer. Looks like he's maybe in his you guess he's probably in his 50s, but he looks really wrinkly and weather worn.
Buddy, give me a hand up.
Of course. Come on, Lassie. So you'll be going to Dunval, eh? You know somebody there? Is that where you're going?
Yes, my friend, Mr. McDougal, is actually staying there and meeting us.
McDougal, you say?
Yes, sir.
Ah,
That name
that's interesting.
means something to you, my friend.
Well, the ruins there. That's Tower McDougal.
Oh,
God.
well,
Really?
It's a common enough name, I'm sure.
Not so much around here anymore, but
Anymore?
Was there a McDougal family?
McDougal's all died off quite a while ago. Don't know why your friend is here. There's nothing, like I say, nothing but a ruined tower.
It's in the middle of town too, right?
Well, it's kind of to one side, yeah, next to the. But the town was built up around it.
Did they die out recently?
Oh no, like centuries ago, I think.
My friends, Gordon, the friend we are going to look for, has been doing some genealogical research, as he mentioned in his letter. Last I spoke with him, he mentioned that his family migrated to the new country in the 1700s. I wonder if they really are the same clan then.
I don't know, but now the road's kind of bumpy because it's mostly dirt. But that's it's something to tell our friends. McDougal back in the place where the McDougals may have originated. It's interesting.
So, Virgil, smell that country air?
That's too much. It's everywhere.
That's gratuitous amounts of sheep shit. That's what that is.
Oh, I have no doubt.
So you come up over a little rise, and you're heading down towards this village. It's not much more than a village. You can see that there are a cluster of buildings kind of in the center, and you pass a couple of homesteads, but the homesteads are spread out over the valley, so they probably all count as Dunval, but they're farms out there. Dunval itself just has a handful of buildings, maybe a general store, and you can see that there is an inn called the Ruddy Sow. It has a sign hanging up that's shaped like a female pig with a bunch of little babies suckling on her, and she's painted bright red. And it's dark now, so you can't really see much. There's a few lights on buildings, but there's no street lights per se. And off, just in the distance a ways, you can see something black against the evening sky that looks like a ruin. But it's maybe half a mile farther down as he pulls up to the
Sure.
the ruddy sow. Well, it's been nice talking to you. I can help you bring the bags inside.
How many piglets are suckling on the sow?
5.
Make a number up. 5.
Yeah.
5 piglets suckling on a
5 of
crimson
us.
sow, Virgil. Do you know what that means?
What? What does that mean?
I'll show you later. I want to make sure. I don't want to give you misinformation. I need to consult my my books. But
Xandar, what exactly do you do for a living? I never really thought about it. How do you get money? Where do you go when you're not at the club?
oh, I write books.
Like
Sometimes when I need his help on a case and he helps me out, I give him a commission.
People consult me for my knowledge in the mystical world, the world of religion and the occult.
Well, I hope we don't need too much of that.
Speaking of which, Tom, do I know any folklore about anything regarding Dunval or McDougal's or anything of that sort?
No,
Is there any kind of,
probably
no.
not. There's every town here is going to have its own little folklore.
No,
you
that's
have
fair.
general knowledge of Scottish folklore, fairies,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff like
No
that.
worries.
So you
Pretty
get
good.
down, you dust yourselves off, those of you who are in the back, and you grab your suitcases. Joe Green's helping you. You step into the inn. The inn is, once you open the door, it's fairly brightly lit, but it's comfortable. You can see there's a fire going in a fireplace. There's a place where food is served, but there's nobody there at the moment because it's kind of about 9 o'clock at this point. There is a man behind the counter who sees you coming in and immediately comes out and says, you'll be the Dr. Sapien group that's coming in?
Yes, my friend. We are
Excellent.
here.
Let me help you with the bags.
Thank you. I have to ask, do you have a Gordon McDougal, who is also a guest in your
Gordon McDougal. Yeah, he's upstairs. Let me get all of your stuff settled.
Thank you.
And
Please tell me the kitchen's still open.
he kind of rolls his eyes when you ask about Gordon McDougal. Are you still hungry, Xander? Because you just ate.
I see nothing wrong with getting some pints, eh, Xander?
Well,
So
if the
he
kitchen's
helps you-
closed, then the
He helps you
few
bring
scoops
your
left to
stuff
do.
in. He introduces himself as Samuel Connors. You spoke to my wife earlier, Lucy. He's about 45 years old. He looks like your typical innkeeper. He gets you inside. He gets all of your bags. He says, "No, I'm going to, let's see, we got 5 of you. So I'm going to give you rooms 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Lucky 7 for me, lads.
You, and how you're going to pay." He fiddles with all of that stuff with you. I'd like you all to do listen rolls.
I got some points in that. God,
Ooh,
I rolled a 91.
Okay. You're too busy thinking about beer or something. Anybody pass? Who passed?
No, I did not.
Nobody passed. All right.
I have a
As
list of
he's
30.
With
working
55.
on the paperwork, whatever, signing you guys, having you guys sign and everything, you occasionally see him going like this, looking up towards the stairs. And
is everything okay, Master Samuel?
that'll be your friend, Mr. McDougal.
What
He's
do you mean?
quite the howler. And just about the time he says that, you hear, at first kind of vaguely, because these walls are pretty thick, they're heavy wood, but you hear upstairs, you hear somebody going, "Ah."
Gordon, I'm gonna rush up.
And he sort of puts his hand on it. He says, "There's no need. He's been doing that for a week."
A week?
He says, let's get your bags upstairs. And get you in the rooms. Your friend Gordon's in room number 2. So
Hi,
you
Clarence.
guys start up the stairs, and as you're going up, once again you hear this. Oh, God, oh. Coming from room number 2.
There's
So I'm
working
gonna
girls
keep
in
my-
Dunval as well, apparently.
Doesn't sound like that kind. Sounds like a pain.
I go.
And Gordon is not one to keep company with ladies.
Okay.
If
Working-
someone's
working-
hurt, I do have my first aid kit on me if I can be of any help for anything.
Yeah, I'll also take my medical kit just in case, and then walk up and start knocking on the door. Gordon, my friend, I am here.
You knock on the door.
I'm going to make sure my room is as far away from Gordon's room as possible because I don't want to be.
I think
That'll be
Gordon
great in
is
room
7, so
7.
you're in trouble. Yeah,
Room 7.
7 might be directly across.
All right. So you knock on the door, and you can hear some shuffling inside and somebody crossing the room. And the door opens, and there is a young man standing there who you don't recognize, dressed in a suit. He looks like he is, where is he? Looks like he's about maybe 25 years old. And he's like, yes, what can I do for you?
I am Dr. Clarence Sapien. I'm here for Gordon.
Gordon said you were coming.
And you are.
I'm David. And he opens up the door, and he says, David's over there. David is in the bed.
You mean Gordon's in the bed?
I'm sorry, Gordon's in the bed. Gordon is in his, like night clothes. He's in the bed and he's laying there. Now, the first thing that you notice is that there is a bottle of whiskey next to the bed and a glass that is half empty. But the room, you can smell the alcohol. And Gordon is lying there on the bed, kind of turned away from you, and he's going, oh God, oh. And David says, Gordon, your friends are here. Gordon looks over and he goes, oh, thank God, Clarence, you're here.
Gordon,
Come
my
in,
friend.
come in. Oh. Who did you bring? Did you bring them all?
These are members of my club. May I introduce Miss Abigail? And then
I'd stand up, but
so
I'm
I
getting
make
my
a round
stuff
of
checked into
introductions.
room 6.
Like a rake in here, lad.
sorry. It's just the pain. The pain is so bad, and that's when you notice that his hand is bandaged.
What happened, my friend? I received your message and came as soon as I can.
As you're standing there, David says, well, now that they're here, if you'll excuse me for a while. And David turns and goes out of the room. It all started this last week when I arrived. I don't know. Didn't think anybody would believe me. Your group solves mysteries. You know that I've been looking for my family, and I finally traced them back to this town, this Dunval. There's a tower. There's what's left of a tower at the other end of the town, and David and I arrived in the evening on the 14th. It's currently the 21st. He says, I was excited, you understand. I was excited, and I wanted to see the tower. I wanted to see what was left. And they kind of warned me that it was treacherous over there not to go. But I went anyway, and I walked over to the tower, and I was looking around. It's just a pile of rocks, mostly. I swear to you, Clarence, something came out of those rocks. Something came at me. I don't know what it was. It was too dark. It was not an animal, but it wasn't a man either. It was something hairy, and it grabbed me and wrestled me to the ground, and then it bit off my finger. It tore it right off my hand, and I screamed, and it scampered away, and I made my way back here, and David took me to the doctor in Halhane, who stitched me up. But that's not the problem. The problem is I can still feel the finger, and something is chewing on it.
Get off your head.
No, I'm not. I can feel it right now. Something is gnawing on my finger. Something up there in those rocks has my finger, and it's gnawing on my finger. And it's going to drive me out of my mind.
Gordon, my friend, there are things such as what we call phantom pain.
This is what the doctor said. No, this is not the same thing. I don't feel an itching. I feel as if something is literally gripping my finger and gnawing on it.
Would it be easier if I left the room and left you guys sort this out?
It maybe see the wound.
Can you still move it?
Well, I've got it all bandaged. The doctor bandaged my hand up.
But you said you can feel it all the time, right?
I can feel it. I can feel something chewing on it.
Can you move your finger around? I don't know.
I can't move anything right now. Do you want to look at it?
Sure.
What kind of whiskey is in this bottle?
Oh, something David grabbed me. It's I've been drinking it to try to ease the pain, but
has the wound healed at all? Like I'm curious.
It's only been a couple of days.
It should start healing, though. Right.
Can I do like a psychology or psychoanalysis roll to either calm him down because he seems to be getting agitated, or sort of see what's going on?
I'm going to taste the whiskey.
Yeah, it's fairly good.
Well, it could be like Pachin, like a Scottish moonshine or something, and it'd be extremely strong. And if you drank half a bottle of that, you'd be hallucinating too. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it doesn't seem like that, but it does seem like it's pretty good. Pretty good whiskey, pretty strong.
I'll hand the bottle to Lloyd then.
All right. So, are you going to unwrap the hand?
Unwrap and then also talk him down a bit. Psychoanalysis if I have to calm him.
You can use psychoanalysis to try. He seems
19 over psychoanalysis 50. So hard.
You see that he is comforted by the fact that you did show up. He feels like you get the impression from him that I don't know what he thinks you can do, but he's happier now that you're here because maybe you can figure out what to do. But he's in a great deal of distress. So you unbandage his hand, and indeed, his index finger has been removed. The doctor has stitched up the wound, and I mean, if you can tell what healing looks like, it's had a couple of days of healing. It looks like the doctor did a fairly decent job doing the work. But and he has mobility. I mean, well, except for that, there's nothing there. But you can see him go through moments of kind of like calming down for a moment, and then suddenly reacting as if something were gnawing on his finger.
So I'll raise the hand. Oh, so go ahead.
Okay. Abigail, did you step out?
She had asked if she should step out, and then nobody really said one way or another. So I would assume if nobody had said anything, she would probably step out and sort of leave the situation to the guys and wait out in the hall or something.
And then Xander, did you come back in this room, or did you go down to your room? And
No, I came into this room when he was talking about
that's right,
getting his finger bitten. So that's when I decided to check out the whiskey, because I thought maybe he's just drunk or something. But it's decent whiskey. I don't think he's wasted off of this, though. So.
Right, well, it does look like he might have been drinking all day, so he might be a little wasted. He seems very emotional, which Dr. Clarence, that to you in of itself seems a little out. He'd have to be pretty drunk to be this emotional.
Well, if Dr. Sapien doesn't mind, I might just start asking him a little bit more about where he supposedly was bitten by this thing. Like if he could give me any details about when he was there and where it was exactly, like if it was the east side of the tower, the south side of the tower, west side of the tower, whatever, that kind of thing. Because I think after a few more sips of this whiskey, I'm thinking about going out there and checking it out myself.
I think that is good to understand, but night might not be the best time to explore. And then while Sandra, talks to him, I'm gonna look at the wound and see if how cleanly the doctor cleaned it. Does it look like it was cut off, gnawed off, whatever?
Looks like he did a professional job, but I did want to find out from Abigail, since you stepped out, what do you want to do?
Well, first I'm probably going to be standing outside the door, and then I had thought about maybe walking over to a nearby window and looking off towards where you said there was some sort of building or something in the distance.
Right. You can walk down to the end of the hall, because there's doors on either side. Down at the end of the hall, there's a window looking out. You can't really, like I say, there's no street lights, so it's pretty much just black against a starry sky.
It's more or less to have something to do, so I'm not standing there thinking about, okay, what's going on in the room, what happened to this guy, sort of thing. It's just some kind of more or less something to occupy my mind in the meantime.
Okay. So you're out there doing that. It looks like the doctor did a good job. So he tells you that it's all kind of a blur, because he was curious and he wasn't really paying that close attention, but he walked out there and he says to you, it is treacherous. There's blocks. He says, at first I thought that that maybe it was a rat, an unusually large rat, but I really couldn't see it at all. It was just shadows, and I should have taken at least a flashlight, but I didn't. I shouldn't have gone out there in the dark. It was just stupid. Where I was, I had approached it and I had been fiddling around for a few minutes. There are large blocks that are sticking out of the ground from, it's just a ruin. But where it came from and where it went, I have no idea. There's too many places to hide. But
and you confirm he has 5 fingers, or
well, he has 4.5 now.
Okay, so he didn't start with 6. Okay,
right, correct. He says, the only thing, this is so bizarre. All I can think of is that it's that thing, whatever it was, has my finger, and you need to get it back for me, or it's going to keep driving me crazy by playing with my finger and eating it slowly.
So I'll rest a hand on him, sort of slowly calm him down.
It'll eventually stop, I guess. If you think about it, if you want to be on the bright side of this. But yeah, we should find that, to be honest.
Will it?
Well, I mean, how much of your finger can there be left at this point?
It may have been fully
is pretty
digested
drunk.
by now.
I'm just
He
trying
is
to.
pretty drunk.
I'm just trying to make him feel better.
What time of day was it when he saw the creature when he was attacked? was
After
nighttime?
they arrived sometime in the evening. It was dark.
Okay, yeah.
It's like
well,
us
that-
tonight, lads.
He's drunk enough to where it seems like he's now relieved that you're here. So he seems to be, it doesn't look like he's had any sleep for a while. So he might be calming down enough where he might fall asleep with the alcohol and everything. But what you guys want to do?
I want to go to my room and take down some notes of the things that he talked about, things he mentioned, and see if I can find anything in my Scottish folklore about a potentially, like, it kind of sounds like a wolver, like a Scottish werewolf type thing, but never heard about anything about this, finger magic bullshit, so I don't know. I'll see if I can find anything poring over my books tonight, since we're not going to be able to probably go out hunting tonight, looking for it. Wait until morning to go investigate the ruins, but that's my plan.
So I'm going to call Abigail and let her know, sort of what's happening. And then for the night, I'll spend it in the room, sort of looking after Gordon, and also, while I'm here, kind of checking out the room, see if there's anything, interesting or out of the ordinary.
Okay. How about the rest of you?
I had mentioned something in chat. I didn't know if it was possible to do or
I'm
not.
sorry. He is still downstairs, yes. Did you want to go downstairs?
I was just wondering if I could ask him a few questions.
Sure. Yeah. So you Abigail, you go down the stairs while they're still discussing. And it looks like Mr. Connors, the innkeeper, he's kind of cleaning up. He's cleaning tables. But you also notice over by the fire, this David character is sitting there in front of the fire, one leg crossed, and he's reading a book, just sort of lounging there. And the innkeeper, as you come down, he says, "Is there anything I can do for you?"
Sir, I was actually just wondering about the old-looking building, perhaps in the distance, was a little dark when we arrived here. It's
You're talking about McDougal Tower, yeah.
Yes.
What would you like to know? I don't know that much about its history, but that's kind of the foundation of the town.
I tend to specialize in archaeological studies, and I was just simply wondering about the history per se.
Well, if anybody has a more complete history on it, it'd probably be the pastor of the local church, St. Drosten. He would have the town records. His name is Alan McKay. St. Drosten's Church, this Church of Scotland. It's you can't miss that either. It's a fairly big church, made out of stone, but it's also on that sort of dark skyline at the moment. It is about 10 o'clock at night right now. But now, lass, don't be going out there around the tower in the dark. You should wait until the daylight. There's a walking path that goes right up to it.
Is it a fairly dangerous area?
Well, there's a lot of stones. It apparently at some point was destroyed, and it's the blocks that made it up were scattered all over the place, and so there's a lot of sharp angles and odd things. A lot of places that are a bit slippery. Not much grows up there except a little bit of grass.
have you heard of anything, maybe anything funny happening or anything per se?
Well, there's the legends of buried gold up there, but nobody's ever found any.
Well, I suppose if they did, you would be fairly well off. Thank you for answering my questions, though.
Yeah, people, there's kind of a circuit of people that show up every once in a while. Not the same people, but people come out to these little villages and they like to take a look at the ruins and learn about their history and their legends. And there's been more than a number of, people go up there and look around, see if they can find a magic pot of gold. But like I say, nobody's ever found anything. Best not to go up there in the dark. It's like you say, it's treacherous in the dark. I think that's what happened to your friend. And about this time, David perks up over there and looks over. And he's like, you're one of David's friends.
Yes, I am.
Friend of a friend.
Pretty much.
If you ask me, I think Gordon went up there and got his finger caught in the rocks and panicked. He's not really used to doing any kind of heavy labor or any kind of stressful thing. I think he just accidentally ripped off his own finger in the rocks, and I took him to the hospital. And then
just a random silly accident?
Yeah, and then he, I don't know, he's not really got much of an imagination, but I mean, some hairy person, that just doesn't make any sense to me. I took him to the hospital and the doctor patched him up, and now he's claiming that he can still feel the finger, but I don't know.
Like maybe some sort of phantom wound or something?
Well, that's what the doctor said. Doctor said that sometimes people can feel their hand if they got their hand cut off, or feels like it's itchy. He says it's just nerves.
Okay, I understand that. Hey, but that's fine.
It sounds like he's calmed down. I don't hear him moaning right now. I'll probably go on up.
Well, I left his friend alone with him, and I walked out of the room. I thought it would be easier with just a few of them together.
I'll go take a look. Thank you all for coming, but I hope it wasn't. I hope it wasn't for nothing. And he gets up and closes up his book and walks upstairs.
I'm going to follow him back upstairs.
Okay. So Dr. Clarence, after a few minutes, David steps into the room and he says, oh good, he's falling asleep. So y'all can go to bed, and he probably won't sleep through the night. He hasn't so far.
Say, how about we shouldn't... I mean, if you have pain tonight, you should let us know. And maybe, yeah, we're all tired, but if you start feeling something's, chewing on your finger, why don't we all get up, grab a couple lights, and maybe lantern, or run out there and see if we can't find this finger biter.
Virgil, I was thinking the same thing, but I've been driving all day and I wouldn't be at my best, but I definitely feel like, though, if there's any trouble going around here, going up there at night, it's going to be sure one way to find it.
Lloyd, honestly, if in the middle of the night he starts screaming in pain, do we really want to just let him languish until the morning?
I'll take care of him, David says.
Okay.
And you guys can do a psychology roll on David.
Okay.
What would you need to roll for that?
Ooh.
Psychology.
Normal success.
I got a 5.
You'll see it's a skill.
regular success.
That's a regular success as well.
As David is saying these things, he's walking over to where Gordon is, and he's got like a damp towel, which he wipes Gordon's forehead off, and sort of tucks him in a little bit. You get the feeling that there might be a little bit of tenderness between David and Gordon at this point. And David seems very serious, but he's also a younger, handsome man. It looks like he's like 20 years younger than Gordon. But
have you known Gordon long, David?
A few years. I'm currently his assistant.
Gordon is.
I didn't expect this, but I'm not going anywhere.
Keep your eyes open, lad.
If it would be easier, because it seems like you haven't gotten much sleep either, David, I will look after Gordon tonight.
Oh, that's very nice of you. I am in room 1. Just knock on my door if you need me. Then that's very nice of you.
Of course, David. Thank you for taking care of Gordon.
So he turns around and goes. He seems kind of matter-of-factly,
Dr. Sapien, would you need me for anything, or maybe to sit nearby and help out just in case?
I think that might be wise. And I'm going to start looking around the room now that David's not here.
Okay. What are you looking for?
Just anything of the ordinary. So, for example, Gordon mentioned he's been doing genealogical research, things like that. So I'm going to see if I could find similar documents, things like that.
Do a spot hidden.
79 over, was it 30? So nope.
Okay. You don't find anything like that. I should also tell Reina, if you want to change a roll, you can use luck. So you spend the luck to do that. Of course.
Oh yeah, Mouse was explaining that to me earlier.
Yeah.
With the exception of sanity rolls,
Sanity.
right?
Or luck
right,
rolls.
you can't change.
Or if you
Can't
push,
luck rolls,
you can't spend luck.
Yeah,
Right.
that too.
Anybody else in the room? Do you want to look around?
Yeah, if I see
Spot it.
Dr. Sapien searching around, I feel like I would too. Maybe he's still sipping on a little bit of that whiskey while he's doing it, but that is a hard success.
Oh, that whiskey helped.
What would I roll for spot hidden?
It's spot hidden. You'll see on your skills. You'll see one.
Yeah, just percentiles. You always roll percentiles for
Yeah,
all your skills.
always
Failed.
those D100s.
I failed mine.
My spot hidden is a 65, but I just wasn't sure which dice to use for that.
Oh, you always use percentage. There's 2 10-sided dice that give you the ones and the 10s.
You want low rolls.
Right. So some of you passed it. Looking around, you begin to form a kind of picture in your mind of something that's taking place here. And what it is, it looks like they barely unpacked. If you put it together with what he said, they got here and he had the accident almost immediately. So they've never, at least he's never completely unpacked all of his things and got it. It looks like if he was intending to do genealogical research, he never even got started here. So
They've been here a week, right?
correct. They've been here since 14th. The letter that you received was dated the 16th. All right. So this evening, unless you guys want something else to do this evening, the time passes. You eventually get some rest. You've been exhausted, the long trip. You wake up early in the morning. There are a couple of instances during the night where Gordon wakes up in pain, and Dr. Sapien, you probably have some drugs on you that you can give him that will relieve some of the
Always.
pain, let him sleep. So you do that. But other than that, nothing really happens. The morning comes, and as you guys are waking up, you can smell food cooking downstairs. And,
They got something going in the scullery.
what would you like? Let's assume that you're going to all go down and meet for breakfast. Gordon has managed to stay asleep, at least right now.
Did I find anything about finger biting in any of the folklore? In the shit? Any
Not
kind of
really.
like wicked fairies or anything? Or
There's all
No.
kinds of stories about fairies and wicked fairies and
sure, but not a
things
finger
like
biting
that, but
fairy.
nothing specific. Yeah, nothing specific about finger biting fairies.
Okay, so I'm still working on the hypothesis that I'm kind of in agreement with the guy who said he probably lost his finger in the rocks or something. But
All right.
at the moment,
So the morning comes, you guys all go downstairs for breakfast, and we'll just say that as you guys are getting ready to go down, David is up there, and he says, if he's asleep, I'll come down and have breakfast. Otherwise, I can take over and watch.
We can send some food up for you too, if you want.
Well, that'd be nice.
I wanted to
So
ask,
he takes a chair next to the bed and pulls out his book.
I wanted to
read.
ask David if he could let us look at some of the genealogy stuff that had been brought, because they didn't do any work on this, right? At all.
No,
They-
we
they
never
pretty
got
much-
the chance.
I see. Perhaps you think we could maybe look over some of the, his genealogy?
Well, we
Maybe-
didn't really bring any of it with us. We
Ah.
know that his family in the 1700s migrated to the United States, and the farthest we could trace it back there was Evan McDougall, and that was, I think, 1782 when he migrated. The McDougall family, then, it took us a while to trace it down, but apparently he came from this village. And well, like I said, we just got here. We were probably going to go to the church and see if they had church records and stuff like that, but we just haven't been able to do any of that yet.
I see. Well, I mean, he's obviously in no shape to be running around the town, obviously.
I was hoping that he would be over this by now, but
There's nothing you can give me to take with me, like no notes, because I was thinking I would head over to the library after breakfast and maybe kind of research into what's his family's name? The
McDougall's.
McDougall's.
There's no library in this town.
There isn't.
There's not even a police station in this town. It's too small. There's a church, and I mean, there's the ruins, and there's a general store and stuff like that.
I guess
The church should probably have the records.
The church probably has, yeah.
So you can't miss it. It's a ridiculously big church.
Because I'm
for this
mostly
little
looking
town.
for where they would keep death certificates, birth certificates.
That's going to be there.
Okay, that's
We
perfect.
don't really have a town hall.
Sure.
That's why we had to run into Halhane for the doctor. There's not even a doctor in this town.
Oh dear. Well, nobody gets your finger bitten off or torn off by a rock around here.
Lloyd, what do you say we go out and check out these ruins
I would agree.
as soon as possible, right after breakfast?
I did have a question for you guys.
Sure.
I was speaking to the clerk last night about the local history around the area and such, particularly the building off in the distance. He had mentioned that the local church around here might have a little bit more information. I had just wondered if the rest of you had thought maybe it might be worth checking out to find a little bit more out before we hit it off over in that direction.
You know, Abigail, I was just mentioning that.
Hmm.
I would love to accompany you to the church this evening or afternoon. It's the morning.
Morning. Yeah.
All of these things are literally 5-minute walk from
Yeah.
where you currently are.
Like, we'll go there, 5 steps. All right, we arrived.
And it's afternoon. How did that happen?
That bottle of whiskey, it's been getting passed around in this whole town.
Okay, so breakfast ends, and you guys are going to do some exploring. So do I understand Abigail and Virgil are heading towards the St. Drostan's church, and Lloyd and Xander are heading towards the ruins. How about Dr. Sapien?
Dr. Sapien will probably head towards the church as well to talk to Pastor McKay.
Okay. So, Xander and Lloyd. Now, these, like I say, these things, now that it's daylight and you step outside, the ruins sort of loom right over there. You can sort of imagine that at some point there was a rather large structure, a tower, not really a castle, but smaller than a castle, but bigger than a house, a tower. And that now there's just sort of rubble. It's on a hill, just slightly past the last building. You can see that you just walk down the street. It turns into a little dirt road, and the dirt road goes up right up to it. So you're walking in that direction, and as you come up to it, what you see is this.
Oh. I had never seen stones like that.
I may have exaggerated how big they are, but they look like they're big building blocks. They're probably also not quite as clean looking after 200 years anymore. But the area is more or less laid out like this as you're coming up to it. It's about a football field across, about 300 or so feet, maybe a little more. And it does have sort of a pattern as if it has blasted out from the center, as if something blew up. Could have been hit by an artillery shell, or it could have been literally blown up by something.
Aye, Xander, this is quite the tower.
But you also see that the way they've been describing it is pretty right. These blocks are at every conceivable angle. You could get your ankle caught, you could get your finger caught, you could trip and fall and hit your head. Now that it's daylight, you can pretty much climb over it.
Regarding the rocks, and based off that image, though, like those were like perfect angles and all that. It's not quite that neat, obviously.
Not quite that. No, that's just the program.
I have a little bit of natural world anyway. Can I just check to see if there's anything unusual about the landscape here? The stones, the earth.
Sure.
I rolled a 6. That's an extreme success.
There's a lot more blocks towards the center, obviously. The blocks way out on the edges have sort of, been half buried in the grass, in the dirt and grass. But as you approach the main area of it, there's less and less vegetation, and there's some rock, but it's almost as if something has poisoned the ground, so that it doesn't let anything grow. It's very harsh and gravelly and rocky, and
extrapolating that, if I were to walk around this whole area, now I know you said it's about the size of a football field, so it's
Yeah,
pretty big. It'll take a little while. But if we were to walk around this and just kind of examine where the vegetation's kind of, completely dead to where it's getting more vibrant,
Right.
does it seem to center right there in the center last point of the tower, essentially?
Yeah, kind of. As if something scorched the earth, something scorched it enough to kill any organic matter. And that's been for a couple of 100 years.
Yeah, yes, and straight from the center of this tower.
Right.
Interesting.
And there are piles and piles and piles of rock. My illustrations don't quite do it justice, but
I understand.
If there were something in here, you could hide a lot of things. You could imagine, like somebody mentioned, rats that could make homes inside this mound with access coming just through the cracks and rocks. And
fucking local kids probably love to come out and play here.
Yeah, maybe. Obviously, there's that walking trail, so people do walk up here and fiddle around occasionally.
And yet nobody's cleaned it up after hundreds of years either.
No, I think they kind of like it because it's at least a little bit of a tourist attraction. Everybody wants to see these old ruins, and this one's not in very good shape. It's definitely destroyed.
It's almost.
Do a spot hidden for me.
Both of us?
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, we're both walking around out here. Yeah, I presume you're. What is my spot hidden? I failed.
I got a hard success.
Okay. Lloyd, you can see evidence of other people walking around here, footprints in the dirt and things like that. It doesn't look unusual. It just looks like people probably go for walks on the trail, and like you said, kids might come up here and play.
Looks like a land well traveled.
It hasn't been avoided. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's not like nobody comes here.
Right.
What do you think, Lloyd? Do you know much about astronomical phenomena? You know what a meteor is, for example, or an asteroid, or what would they call them? What would they call them back then? Comets, shooting stars, all that stuff. Yeah,
not too much, but I'm aware of them.
It's almost like something came out of the sky and just smote this tower into the ground. Look at the way the rock is all blown out. But also see how it's densest here in the center, so it's almost as if the force kind of came from above in that sense. Because if it was truly internal, the center should be bare, right? As the blasting point.
It is pretty interesting, but other than that, this place seems well traveled. Maybe old Gordon really is just a screwball.
The reason I think about an asteroid is because you see how the vegetation's all dead right here? Sometimes they can have very poisonous effects on the soil.
Space gunk?
I guess. I mean, I have a little bit of knowledge in astronomy, but I'm not a proper scientist. Maybe Miss Porkins could tell you something about that. I don't know. But...
Aye. Maybe we should come back here at night.
I mean, the other possibility is, there could be some kind of a werewolf hiding out here. If that attacked Gordon at night, and I don't know how the phantom pain would work exactly in Titan, but that's got kind of a voodoo kind of sense to it. Anyway, I'm probably speaking foreign language to you at this point. But
got any silver bullets?
I don't even have a gun, Lloyd.
All right. So, Abigail and Clarence and Virgil, you are walking towards the church. And this is a big church. From the Abigail, do an archaeology.
Okay. Ooh. I think that's, I believe that's fail.
What did you roll? What did you get?
A 90.
90. Okay. As you're looking at the church, this is a nice church, nice churchyard. Looks like the church is made mostly of stone, but it's got good construction. Like it was constructed probably in the mid 1700s. It's surprisingly large for such a small town. I mean, even at this town's height, it probably didn't have any more than 300 people, and the church seems to have had a lot of money. You're guessing that maybe it was originally Catholic, because it definitely has the look of a Catholic church. But currently, as you're coming up, it's St. Drostan's, it's Church of Scotland. It's got some beautiful stained glass windows that you can see, all of which would have cost quite a bit of money. You go up to the church, you can see the schedule for, when the services are going to go on Sunday. And you go up to it and you try the door, and the door is unlocked. You open it up and you step inside, and it is a beautiful church. Wooden pews, carved wooden pews. And there is a gentleman in a black sort of cassock, goes down to the ground. He looks like he is maybe in his mid to late 60s, and he is cleaning. And he suddenly looks up and he says, "Oh, hello, folks." He gets up and sort of dusts himself off. Good morning to you.
Sorry to disturb your cleaning, sir.
Oh, that's all right.
Allow me, Francis, Virgil Francis.
Mr. Francis. I'm Pastor Alan McKay.
Nice to meet you, Pastor.
You're not from this town, obviously. You're visiting?
You could say that. We do have a request of you, and if you're able to help us.
Oh, sure.
We were wondering if you would have do you know if there's any records here, birth, death certificates? We're trying to trace the genealogy of a mutual friend of ours.
Well, I can take you to the room where we keep all the church records. You're going to have quite the time going through it. We've got the 200 years of records.
Do you know of the McDougals?
McDougals. I know about the McDougals. The tower, I don't know any dates or anything, but the McDougals are the ones that built the town. They were a trading family. They had, a lot of money at the time. They built the big tower. It's just ruins now. Went on hard times, went on good times. The old rumor was that they found gold. And then I don't know the whole story. I'm sure it's in the records. Let me take you there. And he takes you down the stairs into a kind of a little vault underneath the church, and it's a big room. It's pretty dusty. Doesn't look like they come down here too much. It's not filthy dusty, but he says, "Here's all of our records. You're welcome to look through it. Please don't damage anything." The McDougals also built the, they funded building the church. So, the church does owe them quite a bit. But you don't have to believe any of the rumors of a curse or anything like that on the McDougall family.
Are there any maybe on when the when the building was constructed?
It should all be in the records. Yeah.
Can you tell me a bit about you said curse, Pastor?
Well, the old curse is that they're colloquially referred to as the 9-fingered McDougalls.
Oh,
I'm not precisely sure why, but some sort of family curse that is very unfortunate. And that's why there are no more McDougalls.
well, one more.
Well, none around here, I mean, yes.
And you mentioned they funded the church. This is a very beautiful church, stained glass windows for, if you don't mind me saying, a rather small town.
Yeah, they had money.
Pastor,
They were
you
religious.
mentioned a curse. What kind? Obviously a
I'm
bad
sure.
one.
I mean, we have a lot of old legends. I don't believe any of them.
I'd love. Sir, I don't think you understand. I would love to hear legends. It's kind of what I like. I'm a man of the arts and of literature, as you can tell.
Well, I'm a man of the cloth, so I don't really collect legends. But I'm sure other people in town might know some of them.
Do you know anyone we could ask who might know some old folklore?
I don't know. In the evening, you're going to find a lot of the farmers showing up at the inn for dinner.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind.
But please, have at it. I'll be just upstairs if you need anything.
Of course.
So he leaves it down here. Now there are records, and they're not all well organized. Obviously, this particular pastor is one in a long line of pastors, and it doesn't look like the maintenance of the records is a big thing. They've got things. You can see birth records and death records. So I would like you all to do, let's see, who has the lowest luck? What are all your lucks?
I have
My
60
luck-
luck.
I have a 60 as well.
Yeah, 60.
60 here.
You're all 60.
Also 60. We were all 60s.
All right.
Did
well,
anybody spend any luck yet? No.
One of
Nobody
you,
did.
Oh.
one of you roll your luck. Decide which one of you wants to roll your luck.
I
you know
can do
what?
it. Oh,
I'll-
go ahead.
I'll go for it.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Yeah, that is a critical fail. That is 60 on 95.
All right.
Ooh.
So what that means is that it's going to take you about 2 hours going through all of these records. So Xander and Lloyd, while you're up there doing that, and you're probably not up there for 2 hours, you're going to eventually start wondering where they are.
Yeah, we might be up there for a little while because we were walking around and looking
Looking around the highlands,
investigating,
making
And
sure
at
there's
some
no
point-
looking
locks
for any
nearby.
signs, looking for signs of like a hairy lycanthrope or something, you
Right.
know. But
And so after a while, you probably wander back down into the town. Do you go to the church? You can find them.
They
And then you're
mentioned
all
they were
kind
going to the church.
yeah,
so
it makes sense to go to the church. Yeah.
So you all end up together. But after about a couple of hours, you've come up with a list of information. If Virgil is taking notes and writing all this down.
Oh, definitely.
So this is the information that you uncover in the course of 2 hours. Somebody would like to read through that out loud.
I'll do it, since I rolled so poorly. McDougal Tower was constructed in 1487, and the village of Dunval sprang up around it. The family experienced success in their business ventures, and they grew in prosperity and wealth. They were good members of the church and contributed in measure accordingly. By the mid-1700s, the family's success began to decline. Most of their wealth was gone by 1775. Then, in 1779, during the construction of a well, they literally struck gold. Almost overnight, the family was once again exceedingly wealthy. In December 1781, one of the family members asked the minister to perform an exorcism on the tower to drive out an evil spirit that plagued them. It is not recorded if the exorcism was actually performed. In the weeks that followed, all 6 resident members of the family began showing signs of madness. January 7th, 1782, records the death of Samuel McDougal. January 10th records the same year records the death of Mary McDougal. January 11th, Grace McDougal. January 15th, Andrew McDougal. January 20th, George McDougal. January 25th, Robert McDougal. Evan McDougal, the youngest member of the family, returned from abroad. He was deeply disturbed by the death of his family. After the funeral, he announced his immediate intention to move to the newly independent colonies across the sea to make a fresh start. March 9th, 1782, the McDougal Tower exploded sometime around 11 p.m. All burnable parts were consumed by the fire, leaving only shattered stone blocks and scorched earth. Evan McDougal made a very large donation to the St. Drostan's Church before departing for the United States of America shortly thereafter. October 17th, 1782, it was discovered that the graves of the McDougal family were desecrated, possibly by grave robbers. Wow.
Aye, Xander, you're right about the scorched earth.
The tower exploded?
Yeah, there you go.
You know how much
That's one hell of a family curse, huh?
Not even 3 weeks and they all fall dead.
Another thing we heard from the pastor gentleman is that the McDougals were known as the Nine-Finger McDougals as part of folklore. It doesn't seem
Why?
because the pastor does not know.
He declined to elaborate, but he did mention that the local tavern, the inn, gets pretty rowdy with farmers who love to tell stories of all
At
these
least it
local
gets
legends.
Ruddy.
And we happen to be staying at the inn, so there you go.
Wouldn't it mean like our little friend that we left behind at the hotel? Probably the rest of these family members are also missing a finger then?
Well, he's missing one now.
He's the only McDougal that we know of at the moment that's alive, right? So I'm sure he has family probably back in America or something, but
Well, the way I see it is that the family saw something was happening to them back in, what was it, 1782?
1780s, yeah.
Yeah, like they contact the church for an exorcism, and then about a week later all die, like in succession.
You don't think maybe they could just have some weird tradition of lopping off each other's fingers?
Well, after them all going mad, maybe.
It just doesn't make any sense.
This is sounding less like phantom pain or Gordon being delusional and more abnormal.
Sounds like a ghost story. That's what it sounds like.
Pretty
Well, I have to
unnerving.
say, I mean, when I heard your friend's story the first time last night, it sounded pretty half-cocked. I thought it might have come out of that whiskey bottle, but there's plenty of alternative evidence here that shows signs of a potential family curse. And I know for a fact that curses are real, that they do happen, and they oftentimes happen to families and skip generations, things of that sort. So it's quite possible that there is some kind of curse in the McDougal family and that it's currently afflicting your friend Gordon.
Perhaps a trip back to the inn to have some refreshments and talk to the locals would be in order.
Indeed. Yeah. So we might have to wait till evening and stuff for the farmers to come down to the inn, right? But yeah.
Part that makes me stomach uneasy is the graves being empty.
They're empty. I think they were just desecrated.
In the meantime, we can visit the general store and perhaps see what's available as we wait for the farmers.
Sure.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
good idea.
Let's head back to the inn because
Actually, what time is it right now?
Took you a couple. They'll say it's getting close to lunchtime.
yeah,
That's probably perfect.
approaching
then.
midday.
All right.
So we walk the 4 feet to get
Yeah.
back.
Well, and farmers are done pretty early, right? Like,
Yeah, they're not going to be doing anything in the dark. So, and right now it's summer.
Yeah.
and
So in
there's
Scotland,
not that much going on.
What month is it?
It's June.
Oof. Yeah, the sun might not set around here till after 10 o'clock at night.
Well, we're saying. I forgot about that, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it rises again at 4 o'clock in the morning, or a little earlier.
So you head on back into the town a little bit. It's a nice little quaint town. You see a few people walking back and forth, a few ladies going into the general store and shopping. Inside the general store, there's, the things you'd expect to see. There's supplies and things that people in a rural community might need. There is a woman. She looks like she's maybe in her 40s behind the counter. But you can also see that there's like a little room right behind the counter. And there's an old man sitting there. He's smoking a cigar. You get the distinct impression that it might be her dad. And they all it's a family-owned business for sure. Yeah, what can I do for you? She says.
We're new in town, and looking at some of the ruins, we understand that the McDougal Tower is something of a mystery or something of a landmark here in town.
Every village has its own little stories, but I don't know. I think that it gives me a bit of the creeps at night. I wouldn't go near it.
What about you there, old timer? Any fun tales about McDougal Tower you'd like to share?
You're talking about the McDougals?
Yes, sir.
The 9-fingered McDougals.
How did they come by that name?
That's a weird name. I've heard that.
They were all mad, you'd understand. They were all crazy. They cut off their fingers and they went completely stark, raving mad.
Did they get mad and then cut off their fingers, or they cut off their fingers and then go mad?
Well, now, who would cut off your finger if you weren't already mad?
Fair point.
Are you sure nobody cut their finger off? And you sure it was them, right?
Am I sure about? No, I'm not sure about anything. It's an old story. Old story that they.
There was finger cutting involved.
Old story that they filled up the tower full of dynamite and blew it to smithereens.
That's what we heard.
And what's this about gold? I keep hearing about gold.
The legends of the gold say they dug up a bunch of gold that they found after they were building a well and became fabulously wealthy. But it all came to nothing because the madness came soon after.
And what about the beast? The hairy man-like beast?
Beast?
What about those stories?
Any beast.
No? There's no beasts in Dunval?
Nah, but there's a curse. Don't go near that place in the dark.
Is it possible the curse could be maybe tied to the gold or something?
Who can say, lassie? Who can say?
I'll lean over to Abigail and say it's very possible, yes. Curses are oftentimes attributed to large sums of money, treasure, things of the like.
We've heard often not to go there in the dark. Is there a reason, my friend?
Who knows what evil lurks there, Best just not to chance it.
Can I roll like a psychology or something to see if he's like just hiding something or he's just talking out of his rear?
Sure.
Doc, they say that it's bad luck to walk under a ladder as well. You know why that is? Because you might get paint dropped on your head.
That is true. 59 over 70, so success.
Seems like an old man telling stories.
Fair enough.
Is there anyone in this tavern that look like this inn that looks
So in the
Kinda
general store, aren't we?
irritated.
You're in the
Are
general
we?
store right
Yeah,
now.
we're in the
Okay.
general store.
I thought it was like the food place. Never mind. I guess it's just been a general question. I've been wondering. Nobody around the town seems irritated we're here, though, right?
No, they're not irritated.
Everyone seems pretty
fact-
friendly.
Yeah, they seem fairly friendly.
Okay.
Certainly, when you want to, they're not giving you the stares when you walk in, and they're talking to you.
Yeah. Okay.
So, with the ruins, they're probably used to tourists showing up every once in a while.
And they probably enjoy that. They're pretty out of the way as is.
Brings money in. I mean, you're gonna buy something. Are you gonna buy something at the general store, or are you just in here to look?
Well, we're looking to get lamps and things like that. On that note, as I mentioned, we're interested in the McDougalls. My friend, Gordon, actually visited recently. Has there been any other unusual visitors in town? Coming into general store?
Salesmen show up every once in a while, and
The salesman?
not really.
Out
Oh,
here?
yeah. Sure, they got to sell whatever they're selling. We see strangers, every once in a while. Not a lot. You're actually kind of a big group.
But as I said, we're here on behalf of our friend, one of the McDougalls, actually.
But you don't look like you're all in the same family. Are you all McDougalls?
Oh no, we're just good friends.
Well, then you don't have anything to worry about, do you?
What would you mean by that, per se?
Well, you can't get the McDougal curse if you're not a McDougal.
Fair enough.
And you say you're visiting a McDougal here. I didn't know there was one here. But if
He's our friend. He's been staying at the local inn we're also staying at.
Has he gone stark raving mad yet? Has he lost a finger?
He has, in fact, actually.
What?
Yeah, I mean, as small as this town is, I think you'd have heard him screaming. He's been up there all week.
He's been moaning for about last 5 days without a finger.
Lord, help us all. A McDougal's in town that's lost a finger. Maybe the legends are true. Maybe there is a curse. Thanks be to God you're not a McDougal.
Does that mean the gold could also be real?
I don't know. People have gone up there occasionally looking around to see if they can find gold. Nobody's ever found anything.
But nobody goes up there and disappears, right?
Who can say? I mean, if a stranger comes into town and wanders up there and disappears, who's going to know?
No local children, nothing like that.
No, children don't go up there at night. None of us go up there in the dark. We're not crazy. I mean, you could just trip and fall and hit your head and die.
On that note, I kind of pull Virgil aside and whisper to him, "Hey, Virgil. Look, on that note, Lloyd and I are coming out here tonight. You want to come with us?
What?
Or out there to the tower?
Are we bringing the whiskey?" I'm like, I kind of get really quiet. Like,
we were thinking about gas lamps actually, but
you actually want to work? I see. Okay, yeah, no, I'll come with you.
Yeah. We can bring whiskey too.
I would like you all to do spot hidden ones
Spot hidden.
as you guys are in the general store.
No.
Regular pass.
I hate spot hiddens. 90.
Oh boy,
I rolled a 22 out of a 65.
I failed as
22 out
well.
of 65, did you say?
Yep. My
Oh,
spot hidden is a
that's-
65.
That's really good.
I rolled a 31 and failed.
So Abigail, as you're listening to this, and you're sort of wandering around looking at their stuff, there's a little stand towards the, near the, not too far from the door, with newspapers on it. And you can see that they don't have a local newspaper here. They use the Halhane Herald, which is the town about 10 miles from here. But something catches your eye. One of the articles. Let's assume you pull out a nickel and get one of the newspapers, and you look at it. And this is what an article you see. It's not on the first page. I mean, it's not on the front, but it's it's there where you can see it.
From the Halhine Herald, missing fingers, police are baffled by a number of bizarre assaults that have taken place in the last few weeks. 4 local women have had one of their fingers removed. Miss Carla Camshon has told reporters that she was assaulted by a man. While she lay unconscious, he apparently removed her left ring finger, then carefully bandaged it up. When she regained consciousness, she was alone in the back alley of Halhine, not far from where she had met the man. She remembers very little and could not offer the police a description of her assailant. Similarly, Miss Amelia Glass, Margaret McAndra, and Moria Singular were similarly assaulted and deprived one of their digits. Most of these assailants took place in and around the Pestle district, an area notorious for its ladies of the evening. Police have added a second patrol of the area.
And she points that out to all of you.
Hi. Maybe we want to kill some time in Halheim and visit those ladies of the night. That man was speaking to us back at the diner.
None of them are McDougal's.
Visit.
Well, whoring definitely sounds better than mucking around that dark tower in the middle of the night.
If you're going to go visit these ladies of the night, would you mind terribly going without me? I'm not too comfortable with this.
Aye, lass.
Yeah, I'll pass on the ladies of the night with missing fingers. You guys can afford that.
I highly doubt we're there for pleasure and more for business, although in their case, convoluted.
Business, of course.
But they are not McDougal's.
Oh, no, it means that we're vulnerable too.
That is concerning.
Perhaps,
perhaps a spiteful McDougal wants to inflict his curse upon other people.
But now it sounds like she wasn't even at the ruins. She was just in her house sleeping, and this thing came up and took her finger off.
Well, we need to go back for the car anyways, so perhaps.
True.
With that revelation, let's take a 10-minute break.
Aye.
True.
So you've just found, you're still standing at the general store, and Abigail has shown you this article, and you realize that some prostitutes, 4 prostitutes, have been attacked, assaulted, and had their fingers removed in Halhane, about 10 miles away. What's your next move? And it's did I say it's lunchtime?
Yep.
Earlier, yeah.
So
How recently was that?
just
The article on the,
it's yesterday's newspaper.
Yesterday's news. Okay. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
got it. So that's where we're going, right? Are we gonna pick up his car, or are we gonna?
We can probably
You're muted.
find someone to drive us there.
Are we all going?
There is a bus that runs between Halhane and Dunval that goes out a couple times a day. So it's in the middle of the day. The bus is probably available.
I see.
Like I had said, I'm not gonna be going out to go visit the prostitutes or anything.
Oh no, we're
Yeah.
we're investigating. We're not. You know.
No, there's time to be fooling around.
I kind of wanted to go visit the ruins. To me, it just generally sounds interesting.
Wasn't too much there.
But, I mean, I know, but it sounds cool, like, because I haven't seen it. You got what you guys said.
Yeah,
kinda perked my
we were
interest.
there.
Fair enough. I'm
And
going
out,
with
of,
tonight.
out of character, if it looked like that, I would totally go look at that. That thing looks badass. I don't know what you're talking about.
So if Virgil and Abigail are going to stay in town, guys can go look at the ruins if you want to, while the other three go to get the car and to check out.
Yeah, it's
what's going
afternoon,
on.
right?
That's what I was thinking if Abigail's gonna stay. But if we were all going, I would just say we'd all go. Which we're not.
Okay. All right. So eventually the bus shows up, and if I'm assuming correctly, Xander Lloyd and Dr. Sapien are heading towards town. Dr. Sapien, do an idea roll, which is knowledge.
I also think Virgil
Intelligence.
just doesn't want to take
Intelligence.
bus. I think that's just it. He just doesn't like public transit. 29 over 65, so that would be
Okay.
a
Art 66.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just it dawns on you as you are in the bus going towards Halhane that the doctor also is there, who patched up Gordon.
Gentlemen, while we're in Helheim, perhaps a conversation with the doctor who took care of Gordon would.
Yeah, I'd like to know
Yeah.
about the wounds, the injury that Gordon sustained. If it was, consistent with an animal attack or a human attack, or maybe getting his hand stuck in a rock and ripping his own finger off. I mean, there'd be different types of injuries. Even the 1920s, I'm sure they identify that much. So,
Absolutely.
Well, with all the lasses getting their fingers cut up too, I'm sure we should ask him about those as well. I think
Yeah.
well, it's afternoon, right? I mean, how long does it take to get to Helheim?
It's 10 miles. It's 15 minutes at the most.
15 minutes. So, yeah, we better off waiting until a little bit later in the day before we go talking to the ladies
prostitutes,
themselves.
lady of
Yeah.
the night.
So let's go talk to the doc first. Good call,
All right.
Dr. Sapien.
So you guys are off towards Halhane. Abigail and Virgil, you're going to walk over to the ruins and look around. Describe what you're doing. Are you just going to go up and stand there and look? Or are you going to walk around them?
I wanted to bring a flashlight and maybe look around just
Okay.
a little bit.
You don't need a
because-
flashlight right now, but
Well, I mean, when they
Look
kind
in
of
the-
described it, they mentioned that like there's rocks everywhere. So I'm thinking
Right.
like I'm gonna be looking.
okay.
A part of me deep down thinks I'm gonna find this finger up there. Just a part of me.
Okay. And Abigail, the same thing?
I'm gonna pull out my
Your binoculars. Okay.
my binoculars, and I'm gonna look around with those, kind of look up high, down low, see if I can spot anything interesting that kind of bears more investigation or
Okay.
something like that.
So I'd like the two of you to do spot hidden rolls.
Failure at a 75.
Oh, wow! I got a straight 10.
Oh, very
Nice.
nice. All right, so you guys are walking around. Maybe for about an hour, you guys are exploring and looking at stuff. And Virgil, you don't find anything. They're interesting. You do notice that that like they said, stuff doesn't seem to grow in the middle of this, and it's pretty piled up. And there are places where there's the rock is a little bit slippery and slick just from moss growing on it and so forth. And Abigail, as you're looking around with your binoculars, you're looking up at the higher points, and you're not really seeing anything. But there comes a point where you're getting a little bit tired walking around these things. You have to climb over some of the rocks, and you decide to take a bit of a rest, and you sort of lean on one of the rocks, and you've dropped your you haven't dropped them, you've just brought them down, and you're looking over, and you see a couple of rocks, a couple of stones that definitely look like they have stains on them. When you look closer, you're pretty sure that it's dried blood.
Virgil,
Not a
Virgil,
lot.
come here. Virgil, can you hear me?
I stopped looking for a finger and like, oh, did you find the finger? Abigail, did you find it?
Finger? This is dried blood. Why are you looking specifically for a finger?
It's like the whole reason we came here. I'll stop yelling and actually like make my way over.
Okay. So you come over and you can see that there are definitely places of blood staining on the rocks. Your assumption is this might be where he lost the finger.
Hey, Abigail.
Yeah.
I have an idea. I think this is where he may have lost his finger. Just a thought.
I don't know if I really want to actually find this or not. I mean, I'm not sure if I actually want to encounter this dismembered finger.
Fair. I mean, aren't you the scientist? Where's your sense of adventure and scientific
I like old buildings,
values?
not random chopped off body parts.
What kind of a scientist are you?
So, because Virgil keeps talking about chopped off body parts, and I think I would also like you both to do sanity rolls because you've seen this splattered blood on the rock.
What dice would I roll for the sanity
The
roll?
same. It's still percentages.
55.
I have a 68.
And what's your score? What's your sanity? What's the base?
My sanity is 45.
My sanity's a 50.
Okay.
And mine's 60. Well, actually 45.
So you both failed?
Mhm.
Okay. You're a little distressed about seeing the blood, so just lose 1 point of sanity in the process. But Abigail, you got a really good spot hidden roll. You start to notice something else because Virgil keeps talking about a severed body part, which kind of forces you to look downwards. What you notice is that there are footprints in the dirt here, and you're pretty sure that although some of the footprints are definitely a man's dress shoe, there are also a couple of footprints that look like a lady's high heel.
Maybe a boot?
No, it looks like a high
High
heel.
heel?
There's definitely a stiletto heel there.
Okay.
Hey Virgil, you notice these footprints right here? It looks like maybe a man's type of dress shoe, and maybe he had a lady with him.
I guess I looked down as I was looking up to yeah, I guess. I mean, does it look like the man's running away, like as if someone was running, like they got their finger bitten off?
No, they don't look like they were running. It's like they were just in the area. The women's shoes look kind of odd. They seem more random, as if the person wasn't walking, maybe they stood there. You don't see a trail going away of the woman's footprints, but you definitely see the man's footprint just walking. It looks like he came from the road up to here and then back again.
Okay.
It almost gives you the impression that the woman was set down here.
Maybe it's almost like you say high heels, and it obviously looks like someone was walking around, or is it just stationary?
It looks like the man was walking around. It looks like the woman was not.
Could this have to do with your missing digit?
I mean, maybe somebody came and collected it after he lost it, but it's been a week, remember? Like, anybody could have been up here in that time. Tourists, I mean. And but I guess that doesn't explain the blood. Like, if that's blood, it's been up here for a while. Like, if that's his blood, I don't know. I mean,
So there
I
could
can't
be
really.
someone else going around with a missing finger as well.
Exactly. It might be somebody else might have come here. I don't know. It's a bit perplexing.
So I'll jump to
I
the
guess then
others. Oh, go ahead.
And there's nobody else here with us, obviously. It's just
No.
quiet, empty fields. I guess we should
So-
probably head back.
I agree.
All right, so we jump to the others. It takes you 15 minutes to get to Halhane. The bus stops in the middle of the town. Now, this got a little bit more stuff in it in this town. So there's not only a general store and a couple of diners, but there's a gas station. There's you find the place where they put your car, and you're able to retrieve your car pretty simply. And so, what do you want to do? You said you were going to visit the doctor.
I think doctor first, and then
Okay.
the right.
And we're going to do that.
So you don't know exactly where the doctor is, except that it doesn't take you much driving up and down one street and another to see the doctor's office. And you can see on the door it is Dr. Roy McTavish. And it looks like it was a house at one point that's been sort of converted into a little doctor's office. Little flowers growing outside. So you park your car, you walk up, and the front door it's not open, but it's not locked. So you just walk inside. And inside, like I say, the house has been kind of converted. So you step inside, and there is a little waiting room. There are maybe 2 people sitting in there, and you can hear some noise coming from somewhere in the building. You think the doctor is probably talking to somebody. You can't really hear what he's saying because it's through the walls. But what do you do?
I say we be polite and get in line.
Like a receptionist, or
There's a little window and a bell. You ring the bell. It takes a second, but a nurse comes over and she opens it up and she says, fill out these forms and we'll get to you in a few minutes.
nurse. We're actually here on behalf of a previous patient of the doctor's, a Mr. Gordon McDougall.
You want to talk to the doctor?
Correct. I am Mr. McDougall's physician.
All
And
right,
then
it'll
I
be
medical jargon out at her.
the doctor's with the patient right now. It's going to be at least 15 minutes. And it's going to be a long discussion because he's got other patients.
I don't expect it to be long.
All right. I'll tell the doctor. So she goes. 15 minutes or so come, and a door into the reception area opens, and an elderly lady comes out, and right behind her is who you assume is Dr. Roy McTavish. He looks like he's in his early 60s. And he's like, now you've got to lay off the sweets. You understand? Or you're going to lose those feet. And she's like, yes, doctor. And he sort of walks her to the door and opens it for her and goes out. And he says, he turns to the receptionist. He's like, who's next? These gentlemen would like to speak to you for a moment. And he says, okay. What's the problem?
So I walk up and shakes, with my, hand stretched to shake his hand. Dr. McTavish, Dr. Clarion Sapien. I am the physician for Mr. McDougall, who I believe you treated.
McDougall, the guy with the missing finger.
Absolutely. I would like to understand a bit more about the situation.
He looks at the other patients in the room, and he says, I'll be with you in just a few moments. And he says, please come into my office.
All right, and then so we all go in. Yeah. And then now I'm in like medical doctor mode. So,
there's certain personal information I can't give out, but what are you looking for?
Well, I am Mr. McDougall's personal physician, so I'm sure there are things we can't talk about. I would just like to understand a bit more about what happened. I'm hearing something about an accident, missing digits, and I understand that's not uncommon around
Well,
here.
there seems to be a kind of run on that accident currently. He says, but Mr. McDougall came in. There was a gentleman with him, said that he had injured himself, torn off or broken off a finger. Looked like a fairly clean cut.
By an instrument, or what do the...
the gentleman said that it got bitten off, and it would take a fairly strong amount of jaw strength to literally snap somebody's finger off like that. But the cut was clean enough that it could have been something like that. Maybe a pair of cutters or something would have cut it off as well.
So it didn't look like it was gnawed on, or
it didn't look like it was sliced with a knife.
Didn't look like it could have been ripped off and nothing.
Well, it didn't have really that much as in the way of torn skin or tissue. It was a fairly clean cut. It was. I cleaned it and stitched it up. But the newspaper says there's some sort of maniac going around.
Yes, you mentioned that. This is not uncommon. I understand.
I've had a few of the ladies, them type of ladies. Newspaper says that they were assaulted, so maybe there's some sort of maniac.
Were you not the one who treated them?
Oh, I was. Yes.
Do the wounds appear similar?
Yeah, very similar, in fact. They said it was some gentleman who had done this to them. But that was a while back, a few weeks, maybe. Let's see.
That was before Gordon McDougall's incident.
Well, the first one on my records is a Miss Moira Singlier, one of the ladies. That was back on June 3rd that happened. And it seemed like 2 or 3, 4 days after that, another one, and then another one, and then another one. Mr. McDougall's the last one to have shown up was such a wound.
Nearly a week ago?
Yeah.
So nothing before Moira, at least from this town, that you have heard of missing fingers or cut fingers?
Well, there was another fella.
Another fella with a missing finger?
Yeah, there was another fella way a while back. Let me check my records.
Is it always the same finger? The
no,
index finger?
Not always the same finger. I don't find the paperwork for this fella. He did come in. I do recall him being injured. It was a little bit after hours. He was a rather tall fella, blonde hair.
Not local, then, I'm guessing.
Well, he didn't look like a local. He was rather well dressed. But I patched him up, and he paid me in cash, but he didn't give me his name.
You don't collect the names of your patients for your records?
Well, normally my nurse does that for me, but like I said, it was a bit after hours, and I didn't really consider that end of it. And he didn't look like a local.
Did he tell you what happened to his finger?
No, not that I recall.
He didn't say some man attacked him, or
he said an
got
accident.
bit by a dog.
No. It was a while back. How is Mr. McDougall doing?
The phantom pain appears to be persisting, which is
Really?
unusual.
He complained
drinking all
about
the
that when I was working on him. He complained about that.
Absolutely, and it exhibits unexpected behaviors. He mentions feeling gnawing and biting as opposed to mere itching or discomfort that we come to expect from phantom pain.
I tried to explain to him about phantom pain, but he seemed to think it was something more. Now, of course, I haven't had any follow-up on the ladies, but then they wouldn't. It's not like they're charity cases. Obviously, they're not regular.
Did they
Don't
also
worry, I'll be making a donation to them very soon.
multiple donations, very likely. Did they mention any similar phantom pains that you recall?
Like I say, I haven't had any follow-up on any of them. Those women are pretty hardy.
But they all said that they were
Don't do
attacked
much
by a man.
complaining.
All of them said it was a man, yeah. All 4 of them?
As I recall, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get a lot of that from the newspaper.
Excellent.
They're a little they're not exactly the most trusting ladies towards anyone in authority. So,
Yeah, of course.
But
All right, well, thanks.
is there anything
don't
else I
know.
can help you with?
Thank you, Doctor.
And so you leave there, and it's
Actually, there's one thing, Doc. I get this really bad lower back pain and spasms a lot. Cramps. It's very, very uncomfortable. Do you have anything for that?
where is your? I have to do a complete examination on you.
Oh, geez, I don't have time for that. I'm sorry. I don't want to bother you. You have other patients to see, but you don't have anything else in the meantime. Just I pull out like $20.
No, son, I can't do that without examining.
All right. No, all right. I'll just leave then.
All right.
Dejectedly.
All right.
That's
So
very
you'll
useful
leave
for
there.
rituals. You don't understand.
What do you want to do next?
Well, gentlemen, it appears there's a pattern in our case.
I think we should definitely pay those ladies a visit when the hours get a bit darker. In the meantime, I say we get some food and maybe over some haggis, see if any of the employees can say us any more about a blonde-haired man in a suit that's not from around these parts they saw a while back.
Perhaps talking to the ladies outside their working hours might be a good idea, so you don't interfere with their business.
Well, the
After
newspaper
hours.
article did give you the area that they're in.
Gave us the area and their names.
I have their names written down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can
Are using their
speak to
name.
them specifically. Yeah. Like,
So Dr. Sapien.
you should have brought Virgil. He's got all the money.
I got some.
Do you? I got a little bit too.
Dr.
right.
Sapien's suggestion that you visit the ladies of the evening before the evening so that you don't interfere in their business, as they might be busy. You drive over into that area, and in fact, you do identify a number of houses that are probably associated with the ladies, and you see them in the yard hanging up laundry, doing things like that this time of day.
It's very risque.
As they say in the States, cat houses.
I'm afraid, gentlemen, this conversation might be outside my expertise.
No,
With the ladies.
it's all right, Doc. Don't worry. Lloyd and I'll, we got you covered.
So I just tag along behind them.
So what are the names there, Lloyd? We've got Moira, I remember.
Morris Sinclair, Margaret McAndra, Emily Glass.
Margot. It's Margot.
Kamala
Margot,
Camphor. There's a
All right.
Moira and a Margot.
Moira and Margot. Yep. We should. Yeah,
Right.
I guess we'll spend some money. Is all that needs to be said, and try to find these girls.
So you see this woman hanging up her dainties.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought you were making it rain. Okay.
Aye, lass.
Come back in the evening. What do you think? I have all day for you.
I'm gonna show out like my PI, like business card or whatever, and just be like, "Nah, I just got a few questions for you."
Have you now?
Yeah. Would you happen to be or know any of these ladies? And I'm gonna list out the 4 names.
Now, what
I'll just-
makes you think that I'd want to talk to anybody associated with the police?
I'm not with the police.
But you're a private investigator.
Well, maybe so. I'm not trying to cause any trouble here, lass, but I want this to not be as rough as possible. Can I try intimidate?
Oh.
Oh,
I don't know if I'm doing the right accent, but it's sticking.
Delicate one.
So what do you want to know?
I'm just want to ask about some of those finger injuries, because I've been noticing a pattern here, me and my associates.
You notice that one of her fingers is missing. She says, you're looking for the fella that assaulted me and my ladies.
I just have a thing for 9-fingered horse.
Do you now? And I have a thing for 11-fingered men. All right. So what do you want to ask him?
10% discount.
Where were you when this happened?
So she explains that this is their area. So basically they're wandering around. She says, it's kind of shady because some of the gentlemen, they don't want anybody to know that they're visiting us.
Mm-hmm.
So I was back here in the alley, and this gentleman came up. Now it was kind of shadowed, so I didn't see him very well. But I could tell that he was a tall man, a big man. I guessed that he was not a very young man, but not a very old man. And he was quite friendly. He had a nice speaking voice. And I could tell that he was dressed in good clothing. And he leaned in to tell me what he was interested in. And the next thing I know, I wake up in the alley, not too far, maybe just 100 feet farther on. And I was leaned up against a wall, sitting on the floor, on the ground, and my hand was all bandaged up. So he must have chloroformed me or something. And about an hour had gone past. And that's all I remember. And the girls will say the same thing. We're a little bit afraid, but we still have to earn a living.
Did he have blonde hair?
I couldn't tell in the dark. But he wasn't bald. Definitely he had hair.
He was dressed in nice clothes, eh?
I'd say they were pretty good clothes. He was dressed in a suit like you are.
Back with the description from the doctor, I know he described him as blonde-haired in a suit and didn't look like he was from here. Did he mention being tall in the description of that? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yes?
He did.
Okay.
Yes. I remember.
Thank you, ma'am.
Have you heard, ma'am, of other ladies of your trade also running into this problem beyond the 4?
No, it all started on the June 3rd. Nothing before that. Nobody's ever This is crazy.
Have you been experiencing much in the way of phantom pain, still feeling your finger?
I heard something awful.
I'm gonna psychology or psychoanalyze her because she seems a lot more calm than
She
Gordon.
seemed shocked when he asked that. Like she didn't expect anybody to care. But after discussing it with her, see, she doesn't really know what it feels like to have a finger cut off, and she's used to being mistreated. So it's just deal with it. It hurts terrible, wakes me up in the middle of the night, but what can you do?
I am so sorry.
Yeah, that's quite terrible, lass. I'm sorry that you have to deal with that.
Well, I'm wondering when it's going to stop, but it hasn't stopped. It doesn't seem to be getting worse. Maybe it's getting a little better. I'm just trying to ignore it as much as possible.
If there's a way to stop it, we will. I am so sorry.
You heard from the other lasses if they're experiencing something similar, and if not, could you?
They are. So we just figured that that's the way it's supposed to feel.
Very interesting, lads.
So we'll assume that you finish with her. She doesn't have anything else. And you head back in your car this time, back to Dunval, where you meet up with your other friends. And we'll say that it's about 4 p.m. at this point.
Hi, Abigail, Virgil. You find anything interesting up there?
Would you like to let them know, or would you rather I explain it?
Considering you found it, you should do the honor.
Well, there was some dried blood we found on some rocks at the site, as well as a set of footprints seeming to belong to a man looking like maybe dress type shoes, as well as a pair of footprints belonging to a woman wearing high heels.
Really now?
A woman?
Yes.
You see, when we went down back to the old Vale just a little bit south of here, Hallheim, we spoke to the doctor and some of the gals that were being preyed upon by this supposed maniac. The doctor verified that the missing fingers, they were clean cuts, none of that rock tearing business. And we also heard, though, before the lady started getting hurt, there was a blonde-haired man in a suit not from here. And he was quite tall, that it visited him late one night after hours, and he also had a missing finger. But the lasses, they reported, well, none of them got a real good look at him because it's shady, see, but well-dressed, tall. And you're saying you saw footprints of what looked like well-dressed shoes and what looked like a high heel.
So you think one of the ladies that you had heard of or spoke to could have frequented this particular site?
Well, they didn't mention actually leaving, but they were mentioning missing an hour. So, could chloroform them or something.
They could have been brought out there.
Drives out there.
It almost seems like, one of you mentioned this kind of just offhand comment earlier, just like a wolf man, werewolf, kind of as a joke. But if this blonde-haired, well-dressed man, maybe he's our culprit. Maybe he's been running around cutting.
He's the missing
off.
variable right now. And tell me, Abigail, did it say with the footprints? Did it look like one of them was being carried?
Well, it looks like the woman was maybe doing what a lot of sitting down or something. Didn't you think so, Virgil?
I would say yeah. It looked like she was carried. It seems like our stories align, oddly enough. Like now, this is how I would explain what we saw up at the ruins. Honestly, Abigail, because I was dumbfounded. I'm like, well, either this man wearing very nice shoes just took a mannequin up on the hill and put her down for a second, and then picked her up and took her back. But no, I agree with this story now, honestly.
It seems to fit together.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to those ruins tonight, lads and lass.
Cool. I'll bring my gun.
Aye, same here. Get out the old skeet shooter.
Perhaps that is a bit rash without any equipment or light or anything like that.
Oh, we've got a lot of that.
Oh yeah, we went to the general store and we bought like the lights, the lanterns and stuff, right?
There's no cops in Dunval anyway.
And
The law now.
they do have flashlights in this day and age, although they have a big dry
Bulky
sun.
one.
Like the big lamp sort of thing.
Yeah,
Genuine old lantern.
Flashlights.
We go get a bunch of torches.
Yeah, torches or like kerosene lamps.
Yeah. Gas lamps.
That'd be a good idea. I'm only bringing a gun because people are getting their fingers taken off. I don't want
Yeah,
Bring
to-
so they have some beast
we'll
in
bring
there.
some food from the inn. Just get something wrapped up.
Plus, I'm sure it's not unusual for people to go hunting out there. And
It's 4. It's still 4, right? Or are we can kind of.
Right.
But yeah, we're planning for the evening.
yeah, we got to get
For
some
the night.
dinner.
I do think we should go to the inn and actually ask around.
Right.
Some of the
I would
locals,
agree.
because
Ask the
they should all.
locals if they've seen this blonde individual.
Well, also, I want to know maybe if they have any legends or stories, because everyone we've talked to doesn't really know. But they said the farmers who've been working this land for generations, they probably have some good stories.
Well, something did pique my interest as well. They say that most people don't go out there at night because it's dangerous. So if there is someone going out into the ruins in the middle of the night, who's going to see him? Which means that whoever this person is, that's probably exactly when they're going out there is when there's going to be the least number of people to spot him.
And I think those warnings happen for a reason. As Sander mentioned with the ladder and not walking under it, there were probably reasons to avoid that part of town after dark. Perhaps the farmers might know. Once upon.
If it's anything like the reasons back at that damn Loch Find, then I think we're going to be getting one hell of an adventure.
One day we'll find that thing, my friend. One day we will find that thing.
Oh, say. Okay,
Hopefully
so
we'll find where all these fingers are going. Honestly.
all right. So your next move.
The inn.
Okay, you're going back into the inn.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, we're always hungry.
Oh yeah.
You guys just
You
want
go-
to
You go back into the inn, and at this time of day, there are a few people in there eating. Also, you now are meeting. Samuel is there, but also his wife Lucy is there, and they're serving people, and they're nobody's checking in right now. So they're just making themselves busy, cleaning up and making sure everybody's well fed. But you guys know your way around. You're given a hello, recognition that you're here. And a
Can we
place
ask
to sit if
Samuel-
you want.
Can you ask Samuel and Lucy about a tall, blonde, well-dressed man, and whether they recognize a guest like that hereabouts?
We don't get a lot of guests, but you're talking about a tall fella with
Blonde hair.
nicely dressed.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd say maybe late May or so. I think we had a visitor.
Late May.
You
That
can check
lines up, lads.
the register.
That's a while back, isn't it?
The girls lost their fingers early June.
Yeah, they did. June 3rd was the first of the ladies.
Well, you can check the sign-in sheet.
Yeah, I'll do that for, late May, early June timeframe.
We're starting to get a timeline.
You look in there and you see a signature on May 29th for Sean Bannerman. He's a salesman of some sort.
If I look back the register, do I see a similar name at different times?
June 2nd, he's gone.
Okay, but not like before that, like April or March or earlier in the year. Okay.
If you see signatures and things for people before that, they lead you to believe that it's like a man and a wife, or a man and their kids, and so you don't think it's them. But this Sean Bannerman, right about that time.
Oh, it appears, lady and gentlemen, Sean Bannerman, salesman, perhaps the one we heard about in the general store. It is the tall man we are looking for.
Aye.
And the proprietors confirmed that they think he was blonde. Yeah.
And he hasn't been around since June 2nd. What's the date today again?
22nd now.
22nd, right. 3 weeks ago nearly.
So we're going to start eating and then mingle with the locals, ask them about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some
You
haggis.
don't really get anything more from the locals than what you've already got. You get repetition of the same stories, that the McDougalls were cursed, that they were crazy, that they seem to have lost their minds, they mutilated themselves. At least that's what the story says, is that they mutilated themselves. And then they all died, and one of them left and went to the United States.
If we go up and check on Gordon and David, do they seem the same, or has the situation evolved?
Pretty much the same. I mean, a little bit more, but nothing's changed with Gordon. He's still convinced, and David's trying very hard to comfort him, but he wants to know the progress. Have you found anything? Have you found anything?
Gordon, my friend, I think we are onto something. We've heard of other victims who, like you, lost their finger and can still feel things. You are not going crazy, my friend. And then tap on the shoulder, reassure him, we will find out what's happening. David,
but I'm not crazy.
This is real.
Crazy.
No, you are not going, David, this is real. And I'm trying to
see, David, I'm not crazy. I'm not. Of course you're not crazy. And David gives you a look kind of like, better not just be saying that.
I look at him, I say, listen, David, we're going to nail this finger biter. You watch.
We think we have a name.
All right.
Well, Lloyd's going to nail him. I'm just going to write the story about it afterwards.
I stayed downstairs, and I was going to go up to the... I was going to place an order and just buy everyone in the town, like everyone in the inn around, just before... Just kind of tie everything off and make sure they like us.
You get cheers, yeah.
Nice.
There's two things though that do sort of come out. One is the area up near the ruins is treacherous at night, and there's no street light, so it's pitch black. But you also get you don't it doesn't feel completely sincere, because the reaction they give is nobody's got any business going up there in the dark. You're just asking for something horrible to happen. So they seem to believe that there's something bad up there, but they won't vocalize it. That doesn't mean that they know what's going on. It's just, they're superstitious.
They have a... It's not like something they're trying to hide. It's just they have this... Everyone is always just not gone up there. It's oh, don't go up there. My mom told me not to. Her mom told her not to.
And if you guys mention anything about people being attacked or getting bitten. They don't give you any impression they know about that, but they definitely aren't surprised that something like that would happen. So it's just no good. Don't do it. Best not to ask any questions, because God doesn't like that place because it's got to be cursed or whatever. But they have no problem really going up there in the daytime, because they do a little bit. They're not really. They have no reason to go up there. Tourists go up there.
So Abigail and Virgil, when you were up there looking at the site, especially you, Abigail, did you notice, based on again your experience in archaeology, any locations where old cellars or basements might be? Because that might be where anyone that's hiding would have a place to hide.
Well, I know from what I had seen in the past that most places like what you're describing would have to be somewhere where you're not going to really have a lot of water leaking into, a lot of probably somewhere where there wouldn't be a lot of people going there normally, perhaps.
Do an archaeology.
63.
Is that a pass?
Archaeology is no, that was a fail. Archaeology was a 25, and I got a 63.
Okay.
You could do luck.
That's a lot of luck.
Oh, that
38 points.
Let me just say
right.
The most you can tell then is it would have to be within the circle of the tower.
I mean, to be honest with you, coming from another steward of wealth, I think I can reflect a little bit. They probably did have a basement, undoubtedly.
Wine cellar.
But was probably, yeah, exactly. Oh, undoubtedly. If they had a gold mine, that place was probably the Ritz. They probably had two, like a double basement. Maybe a crypt. Like, we're talking, this is the, 1700s? They definitely had a crypt somewhere.
Any idea
Probably
whereabouts? Too bad we don't know whereabouts.
Why don't you just take us back and show us where you found those footprints?
Aye, let's get some digging equipment first.
And we'll see if Lloyd can dig up anything more with his detective skills.
You know, you were mentioning possibility of a crypt there, Virgil, and gives me a bad feeling thinking about it, because I remember that our history gave us some insight that the bodies went missing.
It never went missing. I simply remember reading they were desecrated, as if someone had dug them up and opened them up. Not like they... I imagine they got reburied. But we could ask. That's a good question to ask.
We could ask on the way.
Store manager. Yeah.
Or the pastor.
Knowing where they're buried might be a good idea, too.
You are talking about the 1700s, and the pastor gave you the records. There's no other...
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
nobody's been alive. Even the pastor doesn't know.
Well, I just figured there'd be like a cemetery somewhere where they had headstones.
Well, there's a cemetery all around the church.
Oh, but like on the property, like on the tower property.
Well, it's probably I was saying crypt. A crypt would be underneath.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking.
All right. So, did you say you were going to go back out towards the tower and look at
general store?
Some shovels and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shovels, kerosene lamps.
All right.
So
you
will bring the shotgun.
You go to the general store. You said shovels, rope, lanterns,
right?
So
food and drink.
Food and drink. You head back up to the hill and you start looking around, and Abigail shows you the place where she sees the blood. Now, you might not see this clearly, but she knows what ladies' shoes look like, so she can show you the definitely. It almost seems as if the woman was placed there and then because there's no other shoes walking around. I would like you to all do a spot hidden.
Ooh, 24.
Ooh, 05
Oh, nice.
out of a 70. So that's an extreme with margin to spare.
All right.
73.
I
I'm not gonna burn much.
got a 43 out of a 65.
Okay.
I
So you
rolled
guys
almost
are-
triple my spot hidden roll.
You guys are all walking about, and you're kind of realizing that if there was a basement or something like that, it would have to be within the circle of the tower, because most of this has been blasted out. So you're making your way towards the center. And Lloyd, there comes a point where you sort of are climbing up and over some of the rubble and sliding down a bit. And when you hit the ground, you're still on the ground. You hit the ground, you notice that over a little bit to the side, in a place where a few of these stones have come, sort of made a pile, that there is a hole going down into the ground. And because you've got a really good spot hidden, when you go over it, you definitely can see shoe prints in the dirt, and that the hole that's been dug out.
Oh, like from down?
From outside digging down.
Okay.
It's been
I,
enlarged. It's been enlarged.
Could I
By
attempt
somebody.
a track roll to see how recent the footprints are?
Well, in the dust, yeah, maybe within the last week.
Okay.
Do we see just footprints, or do we see shoe prints, or do we see like footprints, like one shoe, like animal tracks?
Do they match the description of the well-dressed shoes that Abigail pointed out?
Yeah, they look like they're definitely dress shoes, leather bottoms.
Aye, lads, I think we just found our ticket here.
There is an noxious sort of smell coming out of that hole as well. Dr. Clarence, do a spot hidden because you asked.
44, and I'm going to burn 4 points of luck to get a normal success.
Okay. You have medical, and you have general physiology. There's something very strange that doesn't make much sense in amongst the few footprints that you see there. You see something that looks, well, a bit like a human footprint, but there's no heel. It's just toes and maybe a little bit of the ball of the foot, as if somebody were standing on tiptoes.
How many toes do I see?
Well, you think that there are 5 toes, but they're kind of odd. They're kind of thin and a bit emaciated looking. They're not full size, but like I say, there's no indication of any kind of heel. And you're seeing these around this noxious sort of hole with this smell coming out of it. Now, the hole's not huge, and you guys have lights, and the sun is still out. When you look down at it, it looks like the hole is maybe only 2 feet wide at the most. And it looks like it goes down at a pretty steep angle, maybe 6 feet, and then turns sharply forward, and you can't see any farther. It disappears out of sight.
But friends, look at these prints next to the hole.
What do you make of that?
It almost looks like toes, but I see no heel.
Tom,
Hey, Xandor, I think we found your
Yes.
werewolf.
with my knowledge of the natural world and the occult, can I make some kind of a roll to see if this footprint rings any bells from anything, any creature or anything in folklore that I've come across?
Sure.
Okay. I rolled a 24, which would be a normal success for natural world, a hard success for occult,
Well, the fact that
a
it's
normal
got
success for folklore.
these 5 toes, I mean, it definitely would have to be related either to a human or to a dog.
Or be partly human.
Or
Mm.
partly
Human dog. When
Or
dogs-
part-time
dogs-
dog.
Dogs don't have heels, do they? They have.
They stand on their tiptoes.
Just pause,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I think we might have a. Well, no, a wolver has the body of a man, though. So yeah, it's more of a traditional werewolf. It looks like, almost.
We're not actually going with this,
I'm just
right, guys?
postulating this out. I'm just
We're not-
postulating
we're
this out loud.
Like, there isn't really a werewolf down there, like, that's been stealing people's fingers. Are
So
you
who's-
telling me
who's-
that's what's
who's-
happening?
You don't
Indeed,
think
a beast of Bodmin Moor.
you don't think this could just be someone's pet dog or something that got out here?
That's not a dog print. Look, but you can see clear, almost print.
Yeah, look at the toes. The toes are human-like.
So any one of you that has size 60 or less would be able to squeeze through that hole.
Who's the
If you've
smallest one?
If you've got
I
more
think
than
the smallest
60,
one
you
goes
wouldn't fit.
first.
I'm size 50. I could probably fit.
I'm a size 50 as well.
I'm a
Besides,
size
60.
40.
Ooh.
I'm 60, damn.
You
I'm a
guys are not gonna
size-
stuff me down.
Yeah.
I'm a size 65 lad, so I'm not following you down.
He's not gonna be able to
Oh.
make it down.
You would
He's
have
the
to
tallest.
dig to make the hole bigger.
I
So
can keep
Tie
Abigail-
ropes around you,
Abigail's the smallest.
and pull you out if anything happens.
Whoever's going down there should take me shotgun.
No. Here, take this handgun, and I give her my handgun because it's a 9mm pistol. It'll be much more useful in a cave, tunnel, wherever you're going. Why are you doing this exactly?
I don't understand why I'm doing this exactly.
Why? Like, I'm just confused
If-
why we're gonna go into the very foul-smelling hole we just
We
found.
could, I
was
would.
down there, don't we?
If your character doesn't want to do it, you don't have to.
You know what?
You don't have to
You know
do it
what?
at all,
Here's the
no.
thing, guys.
You don't
If
have
I
to do it
was,
at
if what I'm thinking is that we set up a trap here. We found his home. We wait for night. We set up a trap, and we wait for nightfall. And when he comes out, we get him right there.
What if
Whoever
he's
it
down
is.
there? If he's down there right now, maybe we should just throw some of this gas down there and start a nice little.
We're not gonna murder him.
No, don't. We don't. What if? No, we can't just burn this stuff. We want to find evidence.
If it's a farming village, the general store would have bear traps, things like that. We might lay out and cover
What I
around.
thought was we flush him out, but yeah.
If there were bears in Scotland, I don't think there were.
like fox.
I tell you what. You know what? I take the rope. I start tying it around my waist.
And there's plenty of big rocks that you can tie. to it as well.
Right.
Here,
If,
no.
If you want to go
The
down
one-
there,
The other end's going to Lloyd.
just
He's
so
the
in case
biggest one. He's
you
gonna-
start getting
he's gonna be
dragged
pulling-
off, you take him
He's
with
gonna be
you.
pulling me back. Yeah, you know.
Perhaps the shotgun and some.
But I gotta find out.
earmuffs.
I gotta know what's down there.
All right.
So-
Well, you got to take a gun. Like, I'll give you my. It's just a 9mm, and
If you want my 38 or blackjack, feel free.
The
I'd probably
shotgun might be better in an enclosed environment.
Let me double check,
Yes.
but I think I'd be better off with the shotgun. Yeah, I'd be better off with the shotgun.
I was just
I
saying because
love
it's like it's a tunnel, so it's like
It's a 12 gauge pump.
Oh, I'm only gonna be firing one direction.
Right.
You know?
I know, but when you got to turn around because something that you fired at doesn't like that and comes at you.
No,
Oh,
we'll
well, then
pull
I
out.
don't. Yeah, it's fine.
It's
It's too
Yeah,
late at
I've
that
got
point.
I've got strength 65, and I have a damage bonus, so I can probably keep a good on the other end of the rope, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
So I'll take his shotgun, kind of crook it under an arm. And,
So definitely only one person at a time.
Right. I'll hand you the kerosene
I think
lamp.
it's just me.
And
Right. So you can
Sandor.
throw it. Yeah.
Just Sandor.
Xander,
Yep.
feet first or head first?
Oh, feet first. Feet first. Because it's only 6 feet down, and then it opens up, right, and moves on. Or does it not look like it opens
It's
up?
like a tube. It goes down like that. It's only got 2
Oh,
feet.
and it stays the same.
And
size.
it's only 2
In
feet
that case-
wide, and it curves. And
In that case, then I have to go in face first. So I gotta have the lamp in front of me. The shotgun under my arm, just kind of squirming down this.
oh, that's
tunnel.
And I
so.
guess we're tying it to your feet then, or your waist.
It's
How are you?
around my waist.
How are you gonna pump the shotgun?
No, you throw the lamp, it explodes, and then you.
This is a
Oh.
very, very haphazard plan.
Well,
Just
I'm assuming.
thinking
I'm
about this
assuming it has
makes
to
me
open up.
nervous.
It has to
If I
open up
was in
into a
that
chamber
position.
somewhere.
So
And if I
that
go
you-
insane down here, then I'm definitely gonna have like claustrophobia, right? So
So because we have a time limit, so that you don't keep talking him out of going down the hole. Xander gets down on his hands and knees. You guys hold the rope, and he slides down. So it's tight, but it's fairly smooth and dry. So you're kind of sliding in the dirt of it. The opening that you go into seemed like it had been widened by somebody with a shovel, whoever the footprints. But once you're down here, it's oddly smooth, and but there are definitely some sort of marks, as if it was dug out by a claw, whatever. But after it turns and it sort of levels out, it only goes about 3 more feet, and then it opens into what you guess, because of your light, is part of a basement.
all right, so this is what I'm talking about.
It's
There's
you
squirm
are
in
at
there.
the moment about 3 feet off the ground,
Okay.
and looking around, what you can see is this at some point was probably a fairly large underground chamber basement. A lot of it is caved in places. You can see piles of rubble. You can see places where dirt's come in. But there are also 3 tunnels leading out of this. But there's enough room down here where you can't stand up all the way, but you can stand up a little hunkered over.
Yeah.
And it smells very bad. And
There's
of course,
3 separate tunnels from here.
you're looking into the darkness of these tunnels. And you don't hear any noise, but you can hear the guys up above.
So I called back, "Hey guys, I found an antechamber with 3 tunnels."
Is there enough room for us to come down?
I imagine my voice probably echoes all through here.
Well, it's kind of deadened because it's not huge, but
That's fair.
Can we hear him is the question.
oh yeah, you can hear him because he's literally 7 feet away from
Like 9 feet away or something. Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, is there room for the rest of us down there?
Looks like it. Yeah. Yeah. Plenty.
All right.
Except for maybe Lloyd's fat ass. He might need to widen the entryway a bit.
Aye, big bones.
By the way, while we're all doing this, I want to take pictures. Like this whole I've just been kind of standing back taking pictures of this
Okay.
whole.
We'll assume
Thing
you're
happening.
documenting the whole thing.
Oh yeah, I'm having a great time.
So
I forgot you
who's
had a
going
camera.
down next?
I'll go down next with the lamp and Derringer.
Head first or feet first?
Head first, I guess.
You go down, you see exactly the same thing. He sees
Right.
down there. And after you,
I'll go down and take head first with my camera and
okay.
I'm documenting this whole thing because I'm this is so cool. It's we're on a like a safari and like expedition, and old ruins.
And then Abigail, do you want to go down, or do you want to? Are you?
I'll go ahead and follow the guys down since they've already gone.
Okay. So Lloyd, you're the only one left above. Are you
Lighting up a
going
cigarette.
to? Are you going to? You're supposed Are you going to attempt to dig out any of it, or are you just?
If everybody else is going down, I'm going to be like, hold on. I mean, go ahead, but I'm going to try and do some digging.
It might take you a bit. You do a luck roll, because
Okay.
you do realize that you might cause a little bit of a cave-in.
A 37 out of 60.
So you're not causing a cave-in, you're being careful. All right. So
Good.
the four of you are standing in there. The smell is really bad. It smells like decay. There's definitely got to be something dead down here. All of you do Constitution.
Millions and millions of finger bones.
That's up on the top. Constitution.
And I get advantage because I'm used to smelling dead bodies.
Yeah, actually, I would say that. Yeah.
Okay. So first one's 55, second is 45. Let's see.
I got a 93
Yeah.
out of 60.
You don't like nasty smells.
Yeah, I'm not having a good time.
You're feeling pretty nauseous.
I have a 30 out of 49.
You manage to keep yourself from retching. And
Normal.
Xander?
I rolled a 2.
Oh,
I'm
big
fine.
deal.
Yeah.
This is just a smell of spirituality. All right, so you are in this low room, and
While he's digging his way down, yeah.
this room definitely looks like it was dug out, but not by shovels, by hands.
Okay.
It looks also quite a bit unstable in places, like, moving the rocks over there might cause the whole ceiling to come crashing down. So you've got, as I say, 3 tunnels leading off. We'll just call them right tunnel, left tunnel, and central tunnel. Okay.
I want to start exploring the right tunnel while he's digging his way down. Because I figure he's going to take a while. I just want to kind of see. I'm not going to go terribly far, but I just want to see what happens if I walk down it a little ways.
Okay. Okay. So you start moving. It narrows to where the passage is, and you can see that it narrows down to about 5 feet wide. I should say the area that you're in is maybe 30 feet by 30 feet, roughly. So it narrows down to about 5 feet wide, and the tunnel is going off into the dark. Is everybody following, or are you just... Tell me what you're doing inside the main chamber.
I'll follow.
First, I'd want to get a picture, like, before we all, I'm like, hey, where are we all going? Like...
All right, you take...
I'll be back. I'm not going far. I'm just scouting.
I mean, we don't want
to
split up yet.
I'll follow the others if they all start hitting down the same path together.
Okay. All right. Xander, you're in the lead. Do a stealth roll.
Yeesh. No, I rolled an 80.
Okay. So,
out of 20.
Xander, as you are moving along, you accidentally kick something that's on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And you kick it hard enough to where it sort of clatters forward into the chaos. And everybody do listen rolls.
No chance. No.
I'm still digging, right?
Yeah, you're digging.
66. No, that's a fail.
Abigail.
See, I got a 27 out of 20.
No, fail.
You use luck.
We all
Yes,
failed.
and luck.
Oh yeah,
So-
you could spend luck. You only need 7 points of luck
Only could spend 7. Yeah.
So
if you wanted to.
nothing, you don't hear anything. There's no, you hear the thing sort of clatter ahead, and then it stops. You wait for a moment and you don't hear anything. You continue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
You take a few more steps forward. And this time, as you're moving forward, you sort of get the sensory impression that something up ahead is moving. You've got your torches, your flashlights, your lantern.
I've got a shotgun in one hand and lantern in the other.
You come around a corner, and what you suddenly see ahead of you, there are things lying on the floor. Your first impression is that they're sort of gray and peopleish. But one of them has definitely gotten up. It must have heard the clattering, and it's starting to move in your direction. What these things look like, they are thin, emaciated, covered in kind of brownish fur, and their heads, instead of being like an animal's head, it's kind of oval shaped. There are no eye sockets or anything like that, but there is a pair of very large, human-like, but much larger than human-like teeth on these jaws, and it waves its head sort of back and forth, and then it clicks its teeth together. Click, 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 click.
Blam!
You're going to fire?
Yeah.
Right.
Probably pretty poorly because I'm not very good. Oh, I rolled a 14. That's a success. Normal
Okay.
success.
Nice.
I actually rolled a 004.
Oh.
But you're the attacker. That's a hard? I mean, it's an extreme, isn't
No,
it?
that's a normal. Well, I can spend
Okay.
luck. I can spend luck.
Yeah, you can spend luck.
To make an
You wanna
extreme
spend
success, I would need to spend 9 points of luck. I'll spend 9 points of luck.
luck? Okay.
To get for
And then roll for
the
damage.
damage.
There's
So
sanity roll there too.
this is
We'll get
point
to that in a
blank
second.
range, I suppose, right? I forgot to consider that, but
No, well, you're still about 10 or 15 feet away from it.
yeah, point blank range is like half of my dexterity in yards.
X divided by
Oh,
5.
okay.
feet.
One fifth of my dexterity in yards. Sorry, 1/5 of my dexterity in yards. So yeah, it's fine. So let's see. That's 46 plus 24 plus Wow, I rolled really poorly on the dice. So 36.
Phew.
36. Your bullet hits the head of this thing, which explodes.
Oh,
How far away are the creatures? Because if it's a shotgun, it might get more of them.
Well, it's just about 20 feet away, but
Okay.
it's only going to hit the one.
so
Its head explodes. And two things are going to happen simultaneously. One is I want everybody to do constitution rolls because the
We're all
report
deaf.
from that gun is going to deafen you.
yeah.
Ooh,
16.
Oh, I
so
failed that. I failed
Regular
that.
pass.
19. I'm
I
fine.
can't hear
I
shit.
failed really, really badly. I have a 73.
What?
I got a 73.
Oh,
I
Right,
can't hear
so-
you.
What?
So those of you who failed, you have temporary. You've got tendinitis like insane. You can't hear each other talk or anything. Did you fail, Virgil?
I got a 16, so I passed with normal
You
success.
passed. So you saw him raise the gun and you went like that.
Oh, shit.
He's holding his pistol up against the side of his head.
Lloyd, you heard the gun from back there. Okay, at the same time, all of you are going to roll sanity rolls, not you, Lloyd.
Yeah,
Just
knew that was coming.
I'm just yelling out, "Aye, you okay?" And I'm digging faster, frantically trying to fit in.
I
passed
failed
really
that.
well.
Okay. If you passed your sanity roll, do a 1d4 sanity failure. And if you failed it, do a 1d8.
I lost 3 points of sanity on a success.
I lost 3 as well.
Lost 4 on the success.
I rolled a 45 out of a 49 for sanity.
Okay, so you passed. Roll a 1d4 and take 4 points of sanity damage. Which pretty much means that you scream.
I'm 80, so I need to lose.
Lloyd not. So Lloyd, you're hearing screaming, you're hearing a gunfire, and so you're now either digging faster or you're going to try to dive in.
I'm going to try and see if I can muscle my way at this point because I'm kind of like frantic.
When that gun goes off, when that thing explodes, all of the other creatures suddenly leap up. Some of them seem to be able to walk up the walls and onto the ceiling.
I forgot to ask how many of them there are.
Nope.
You left, right?
You couldn't.
There was only 3, right?
Right. That we saw.
There are 6 of them. There are now 5 of them.
Right.
Okay.
I would like you all to do a spot hidden roll at the same time. That you guys are freaking out.
Do I get a bonus die because I'm deaf, so my other senses are heightened?
No.
I didn't think so. I had to try.
I failed 34 out of 25.
I failed. I got an 80.
You're scared by the monsters.
Oh, you guys are all failing so badly. How about you, Xander? Did you fail?
My highest perception skill is 30.
Okay.
I'm the guy
so
that does those.
You now
I
see
can
these
burn luck to
things all-
succeed.
You see these things now all moving in your direction, and they're clicking their teeth as they're coming at you. Oh wait, you don't know that because you can see they're clicking their teeth, but you can't hear
I
it.
can see it. Yeah,
I can hear it, and I'm freaking out.
How far are they away? How
Well,
far
I mean,
away
am
are
I completely deaf at this point because where I rolled?
I was at the
It'll
front. They
wear
were
off
20 feet
in
away
a
from
few
me.
minutes. Yeah, they're about 20 feet, and they're kind of moving quickly. Lloyd, do a luck roll. Lloyd. Shams.
Oh, okay.
The old
Sorry,
forget what my
I was
character
dazed out for a quick second there. 57 out of 60.
All right. So you kind of dive down that hole to try to get through, and you have to wiggle, but you pop out the other end. And at that point, I imagine you see all of them running towards you. I assume that you guys are all running.
I'm gonna.
When they run, I'm gonna throw or at least slam. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not running.
Okay.
Oh, you're going to stand there?
I'm going to shoot again.
Okay.
I don't know anything about guns, so I just assume it's got more bullets. Does it have more bullets? Is it a single shot or is it double shot? Or?
It should. It's a pump, so it's got 5 in there.
Nice. I'm going to shoot again.
Keep them in 10 yards and you'll get that.
Fight or flight. I have the shotgun. I chose flight.
Am I correct that Abigail,
Everybody else can
Clarence, and Virgil, you're all running back to where Lloyd is?
Well, Clarence wants to throw the kerosene lamp between Xander and the things, if possible, to basically create a firewall and just like light them up. Because it's a kerosene lamp, right?
I'm gonna. Oh.
Go ahead.
As we're right before we're about to run, I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna take a picture.
Okay.
Of this just happening. I brought my camera. I've been holding it. Yeah, I know.
Do a luck roll to see if you get a picture of the dirt. And Clarence, I want you to do a throw roll.
Can I run closer first so even if it fails, it doesn't land on Xander?
As long as you don't fumble, it shouldn't be an issue.
I'm pretty much looking the heck out of there.
I've
I mean,
passed
if
my-
you
I've passed my
fumble,
luck.
you're setting one of us on fire.
I've passed
That
with
is
my
true.
So
I got a good
Abigail,
picture.
you're running back to where Lloyd is. Lloyd has just come down the hole.
All right, so my throw is 20, so this will end well or poorly. Crap. Okay, so
Oh, no.
I got a 36. I'm gonna burn 16 luck to make it succeed.
Oh
Okay.
boy.
This is when luck gets burned.
Right, I have 40 luck left. I'm fine.
Okay.
Nice.
And Xander, I would like you to fire your gun.
Fuck yeah. Let's see here in point.
I'm gonna plug my ears right before he does that because now I know again.
I'm gonna spend 1 point of luck to make that an extreme success.
I don't think shotguns impale, but that's still max damage.
Oh, do they not?
No, I think they're the one rifle that doesn't impale.
Oh, okay. Well, shit.
But I mean, that's still
Well, then
24
Max
damage.
damage is 24. Yeah, max damage is 24.
Is
So I
it
should have only done
24?
24 points to the last one.
That's still.
You're right. And also for armor purposes, technically every single die you roll for a shotgun, so if it's 4d6, is affected by that armor penalty. So if it's
So if it's
armor
got-
2, yeah.
Armor 1, -4.
All right. So at the moment that you shoot, did you hit him? How much damage did you do?
24 max damage because I got an extreme success
All right.
with 1 more point. of
You
luck.
hit another one. You hit it kind of mid chest section. You see it blows kind of a hole in the thing. The creature opens its mouth and sort of screeches, and this horrific noise comes out, and the other one starts screeching as well.
I can't hear you.
I guess the only two people that can hear at the moment are Lloyd and Virgil. You both have to cover your ears because it's like a knife being driven into your head.
I'm still a ways back, so would I...
It echoes in here. You guys are
Okay, enough.
The reverb enough is.
The thing about that, though, is that, like, if I'm still far enough back that I can't see them, but I can still hear it, I'm not going to be able to know if I have to cover my ears.
That's right.
So, con roll?
Dr. Clarence, yeah, go ahead and do a con roll. Dr. Clarence, you throw the thing. It hits the ground. It bursts into flame. I'd say at least 3 of them are caught on fire because they're splashed with this stuff. And Xander has just fired his gun. But these things are now leaping through the flames. They're climbing on the ceiling. They're about to pounce on you guys.
It'll make it easier to
In fact,
shoot
it's
too, right? Because they're actually
Hard
Light up
success on the con roll, and at this point, I've got my blackjack out, and I'm just trying to bolt it in that direction because I've seen Abigail crawl out, but
But you haven't seen one of the creatures yet.
no, but I know something's wrong.
So you're running in that
And
direction.
you can definitely hear.
Yeah, I hear
where it's coming
gunshots
from.
and screaming. So,
Can I see any of the creatures where I'm at right now or anything?
You can't see them yet, but you know they're coming, and you're at the hole. So it's their turn. Dr. Clarence, one of them is jumping for you. You can dodge, you can try to fight it.
if I fight it, would I be doing brawl or can I just shoot it before it gets him?
You'd probably be doing brawl.
Okay, let's see what my brawl is.
best you can do with the gun is use it as a melee weapon.
Right.
Exactly, and fight back. Yep.
So my brawl is slightly higher than my dodge, so I will do a brawl and try to sort of knock it before it could get to
The
me.
difference is, though, remember, you
Yeah.
need to get a better success if you're fighting back than if you're.
Oh, right.
Dodge wins ties, but fighting brawl, you need to get better.
True. Then I will try to dodge out the way of the flaming, faceless monster with a mouth.
So what's your dodge and what did you roll?
20. I need to roll now, so.
Okay.
Yeah. 92, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I actually got a hard.
Okay, so.
So the thing comes flying through the flames, and it has long claw-like fingers, as it's leaping, there's a moment in the torchlight. Do a spot hidden.
Ooh, 30 over, what do I have? Spot hidden. Okay, so normal success.
Okay. In that split second, you notice two things. One is the creatures are missing one finger.
Okay.
And two, the finger that's missing has an ornate ring on it, on the stub.
Okay, I'm gonna yell out 9 fingers as it's coming down on me. 9 fingers!
I can't hear you.
It comes down on you. It pounces on you. It doesn't weigh very much.
Oh, okay.
Only a few pounds. But as it sort of lands on you and grapples you, you can feel it sort of try to wrap itself a bit around you as it goes. But it's grabbing your upper arm and then your elbow and then your hand, and then it's attempting to bite one of your fingers off.
Not yet.
Which it got a double up to.
Oh.
So it bites one of your fingers clean off.
Okay.
It was nice knowing you.
I'll shoot in the most manly way possible.
Xander, you're still there. What are you going to do?
All right, that one's biting his finger off. I've shot 2 of them. There's a couple more on fire, and there's one, I think, somewhere that hasn't been lit on fire yet. Correct?
Yeah. And actually, I forgot. It's still that thing's turn. So you're there, so it's going to... The one that didn't get lit on fire is going to leap for you.
That's totally fair. I will dodge. Ooh. I have a normal success. Do I need to get better? I have luck to burn. So I need a hard success. What's hard success? It means I need to spend 13. No, I have 21. I need to get a 12. So I'll spend 9 more points of luck to get a hard success and dodge.
So because it's so close there, the thing leaps on you and tries to grapple you, but you throw it off before it can grab a hold of a finger. The ones that are burning don't seem to be like freaking out about burning. They are continuing to move towards you. All right.
And one of them is biting my good friend Dr. Sapien, who just tried to save me with his lantern thing. So I'm going to shoot.
Snapped off one of his fingers.
I'm shooting that one next.
Okay. So Abigail, you are near the hole. You hear yelling. You hear shooting. Your hearing is starting to come back, but you're kind of freaked out and panicking. What do you want to do?
If I don't see the others immediately following behind me, can I try to go back for them?
Sure. So Lloyd has somewhat abandoned you, but he's running towards the action because he wants to help. Virgil, you've come running from the action.
I made that luck roll, by the way.
Okay.
For that picture.
Okay.
But I mean, honestly, if I turn the corner, I mean, I figured we were all running. I didn't think you were gonna stay.
Well,
so if I get to the hole, so if I get to the hole and nobody else is there, because I'm probably gonna pass.
Well, you'd pass by me and then see Abigail. You'd have to pass by both of us.
Now Abigail's moving back towards the place. Now, if you're standing near the hole, you're in the room. The action's coming from the right. There's still the middle and the left tunnels, which nothing seems to be happening there.
This is the part where I go off by myself.
Or there's the hole out.
No, I probably would. I can't turn my back on my friends. I'm going to be like, look at the hole, look back at them, look at the hole for a little bit too long, and then just bolt back after Lloyd and Abigail.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see where everybody is. I'd say we're back to Xander. No, Lloyd, you're running forward. Lloyd, you run around the corner, and everything is kind of lit up now. There's fire going on. There's things, and you see these hideous, hairy mouth creatures, finger biters, moving like, visual from a movie like the aliens, and do a sanity roll.
I see them clicking their teeth. Oh. 95.
All right. So do a 1d8. Wait, I'm sorry. Do an intelligence roll first.
Okay. Do you want me to roll the 1d8 before the int roll?
No, just roll the intelligence roll first.
Well, I mean, I have an 80 in int, and I rolled a 59. So that's a pass. And I rolled a 6 on losing sanity. So...
Okay. So you lose 6 points of sanity. You understand the danger in what you're seeing. So you're going to have an effect. Roll a 1d8.
5.
5. Interesting. Roll another 1d8. I've got the charts on my wall.
2.
Huh. That's the dumbest thing ever. Okay. You aren't deaf, but all the sound stops in your head. You have a psychosomatic illness. You are convinced that you can't hear anything. So you're just stricken.
All I'm hearing in my head is like that, like PTSD trauma sound.
Right. Yeah. But you're still holding it together, at least. As far as that goes.
I am recoiling off this Sandy, but can I attempt to try and go and just whack one of these things, or
Sure.
is it too? Okay.
Yeah.
Fighting brawl. 93 out of 55.
Okay. The things are they're not trying to really dodge. So if you try to whack one and it got a regular success,
I straight up failed.
It's trying to grapple you. So in this case, it's one of the flaming ones that is still burning a bit. It does very similar to what it did to Clarence. It sort of wraps its arm around, it grabs a hold of your arm, then your elbow, and then it works its way down and then tries to bite off a finger. But it doesn't get the finger off. It's trying to bite, and you're kind of keeping your hand away from it. But it's got a hold on you. And they don't weigh very much. You can also do a spot hidden for me.
Am I taking damage from this burning thing making contact with me?
Well, not yet.
I rolled an 81 out of 70, and we're already burning luck, so I'm going to spend 11 points of luck to make that a regular success.
Okay. It just is going to mean that you notice the ring and the missing finger.
Okay.
All right.
Take off the ring. Take off the ring.
These things have now kind of spread out. Abigail,
There's
you
still-
see them. Go ahead.
There's still one on Dr. Sapien, right?
Yes, there is.
Just checking.
For the moment. These things have spread out now. Some of them are passing you. The one actually that's got a hold of Dr. Sapien and it's bitten off his finger successfully, it kind of tries to leap off of him now that it's got the finger.
Oh no, he stopped leaving.
No, I'm shooting him.
Okay.
Okay.
Well then, yeah, I'm not gonna hold it and let you shoot. Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
so
if I
go
accidentally
ahead.
shoot you, Doc, I apologize, but I'm trying to save your finger.
Do I take any damage from it knobbing off my finger, Tom?
Well, you're bleeding.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Do a
I
that's a
failed.
1d4 damage. All right.
I missed. I got a 63.
The thing is moving very quickly around him. So when you fire, you just fire past it. And the thing leaps away.
So I can't take a shot at it.
You can try and grapple it to keep it
Okay.
from leaping away.
Grapple with the fighting brawl, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. Okay, it's 15, which is a
You
It's 15 over 25, so normal. I can spend 3 to make it a hard.
It's still okay. I got an 89. So
Okay, so I'm like,
it tries to grapple away, and you grab a hold of
Right.
it. And if you've got your gun, you can try and shoot it.
okay, I was gonna try biting it, but probably not. All right, then I'm gonna shoot it right in the. Hey,
Turn about throat.
eye for an eye, right?
It
Yeah.
bit him. It bit him.
All right. I'm gonna shoot it with my Derringer.
Okay.
I mean, I'm grabbing onto it, so it's probably like point blank and shooting in the head.
Yeah, you get
Right.
a bonus die for point blank. range.
Those are good because they're really small and for up close
Yeah.
combat anyway.
All right, so I'm gonna roll 1d6 for damage, and oh crap, 5.
Okay. You take your gun, and because you've grappled it, you almost get the chance to put the gun right up to its head and fire. And you see the gun, you see the report, the fire from the blast, and you can see a chunk of the thing's head sort of fly away, but it doesn't stop.
I'm still
and it's-
grappling.
It now seems to be really trying just to get away from you. The other creatures, as they've spread out, they've suddenly, it's almost as if they suddenly lose interest in you. And they all start they're almost dodging to avoid you. And they're heading towards the left-hand passage. What do you do? So they're in retreat. If you
So did I actually see one of these things, or were they kind of taken off before I got in there?
well, you saw them when you were with the
Mhm.
others.
Yeah, you saw.
But yeah, you see them all running sort of past you towards that place on the left-hand side.
Seeing that they're in retreat, I look around to kind of assess the situation, and I see Lloyd, because I didn't know Lloyd was here. I've been deaf the whole time.
Your
Pretty
hearing
much.
is probably all starting to come back a little bit.
Yeah, painfully so. So I'm going to hand Lloyd his shotgun.
Okay.
I fired 3 rounds, I think.
Am I still deaf?
We'll say it's all coming back to you. You guys have a
Yeah.
moment to sort of.
You guys still see me holding onto a flaming thing.
You're still grappling one of the fucking.
that's
Yeah,
what you want.
I'm like, and then you guys are like, guys.
Smoke break.
I got the shotgun.
Okay, you would have to fire it right next to Dr. Clarence. But
You know
what
what?
do you
Even
wanna
with the
do?
shotgun in mind, considering they're grappling, I'm just going to go up and go with the blackjack whack.
Okay.
But see, I get advantage because I'm grappling the thing, and it's kind of.
I saw that movie, by the
I'd
way.
say so.
Okay, with that in mind, it is a 29 out of 55.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and roll damage?
All right, I need to get out the D4.
Actually, you're not. Your hearing hasn't come back. I forgot your cycles.
Yeah, it was like going. I mean, I probably even at that point, even though he holds a shotgun out, ignore it, run towards the thing. Oh my god, that is just 4 points of damage.
Okay. So you're kind of beating on this thing, and it's trying very hard to get away from Clarence. What's anybody else doing?
If I get there, I'll draw my 9mm and assist. And
Okay. Now you've seen them all run past you.
Oh,
Okay.
honestly, if they're okay,
And
so
they're all heading towards that left-hand hole.
all right, I'd probably just draw my gun and
Fire
put the
up
camera down,
somewhere.
obviously, and probably aim in that direction and kind of cover it. To be honest,
Okay.
at this point, just so they
You're
in case they
just
start
covering
coming
it in case they come back. Okay.
Getting ready in case one jump or crawls out on the ceiling and stuff.
Mm.
All right. Lloyd. Oh, you just did that. Abigail, what are you doing? You're standing there in shock, probably.
I'm just standing there, probably like,
Did you want to do anything?
I want to kind of take notice which tunnel they go down in and see? I can't remember that.
The left-hand side, yeah, the far one.
It's the left one, the one I'm pointing the gun at.
Dr. Clarence, once again, do a grapple roll. The thing is,
All right. On.
trying to get away.
All right. So, rolled a 57 over 25. How much luck do I have left?
You'd have to get a hard because I got a hard.
Ooh.
57. All right. I am going to 57. Oh no! Even if I burn all my luck, it wouldn't be enough. Yeah.
So it wriggles. It wriggles out of your hand. It ducks under where Xander is standing, and it skitters very quickly towards that same tunnel that the others ran to.
So it would have to run past Abigail and Virgil, right?
Correct.
Okay.
If that thing comes by me, I'm plugging it.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'll be yelling from behind.
It's like, that's a pass. It's just a regular pass with a 60. I have a 65 in handguns.
Okay, I got a regular pass as well, and I'm trying to dodge you. So
Okay.
you shoot at it, and you hit the ground, and it skitters towards that same darkness. Those of you who are out in the middle central area, which is Abigail and Virgil, do a listen roll.
I'm going to spend 6 points of luck to make that. Because I
Okay.
got a 26 and I have a 20. So that's a regular success.
I got a 99.
Okay, so you don't hear anything. You're freaked out. But Virgil, you hear the splashing of water. Kind of an echoey, weird sound of water and it splashes for a minute and then it stops.
The well. Uh-oh. I'm just gonna say like, hey guys, I think the well that they found the gold mine in is down here. I think that's where they went. I think that's where that tunnel leads. I hear water splashing. Are you guys still alive, by the way? I yell back. I don't really.
Yeah, we're coming.
Okay.
And I dust up the, I guess my bleeding finger and the burned, I guess, shirt and suit from, hugging that burning. Yeah.
I don't hear shit.
I'll just raise my hand and they can see like 9 fingers.
He's got one of his fingers.
Clarence, do a power roll.
Okay. Ooh, my power is actually decent. So let's see. Oh crap! Where's my? Sorry.
Well, I'm dazed out like this. I'm in a weird state, so I want to look at one of their corpses. I want to pluck one of the rings off of them.
Okay, I got double 8 over 80. So, like that's more than.
You got 88?
No, I got 8 over 80.
Oh, 8
Like
over
my
80.
power is 80. Yeah.
Okay, you're fine.
Yeah.
Lloyd, you were saying you're looking at one of the dead things?
Yeah, I'm plucking the ring off of it.
Okay.
Or at least trying to.
They are, as I say, they're thin, emaciated, weird, hairy things. But your guess is that maybe they were once human, and the ring that you pluck off is the McDougal family crest. You can do a
Roll for sanity.
Yeah. Actually, you can't because you're already under something. So
Oh, okay.
you can't have double insanity.
Is there still fire? Like, are some of them still on fire? Like
No, the ones that were on fire passed you all by now. They've dived into the well.
All right. Can I kick
I
one
just
of the
did that,
dead ones
didn't I?
onto the fire? Can I kick some of the dead ones which don't weigh that much onto like the fire, just out of malice?
Sure.
All right. So.
How many?
Right.
How many did we kill?
Two of
2,
them, I
right?
think.
Like you shot 2.
So there's 4 left. Lloyd, you didn't get any?
I'm just staring at the ring.
What's wrong
You
with
see him
him?
staring at the ring.
So I'm gonna recognize the ring, right? Because I know Gordon's ring probably better than most.
Yeah. I mean, you'd recognize it. You've probably seen it before. Yeah. Probably on some of the records in the church, you also saw that McDougal family crest. You said you tossed some of the dead ones onto the fire.
Well, kind of kicked them into the fire out of spite.
Do a spot it.
Right, because my spot hidden stuff been so good this entire game. Ooh, 001, so 1.
Wow.
Nice.
A crit.
Well, yeah, I wish I got that while I was getting my finger bit off.
The one that falls into the fire, okay, you see it, it's dry. You're not sure if these things are alive or not, but it burns like it's old wood. So it sort of bursts into flame. And this is the one that had its head completely blown off. And very quickly, after a few moments, the body is falling apart into ashes and so forth. But right in the middle of the ashes, right where the creature's stomach would have been, there is something that looks like a finger.
Does it look like? Well, it couldn't look like my finger, right? Because
it doesn't look like a finger. Like it looks like a piece of statue, like a stone finger.
Like a mummified finger, almost.
Maybe, but it's not burning. But it looks like a finger. It looks like as if a perfect finger had been carved out of stone.
I'm gonna walk up and find some way to dig that finger out of the fire,
Okay.
and then just look at it.
Cool for a second.
Right. Are both of them? Do I see it on both of the bodies I kicked into the fire, or just the one?
You got an 01. Yes, they both have these what look like stone fingers in their stomachs.
Gentlemen,
You have them now.
So I'm going to wave these at Xander and Lloyd. I'm imagining Xander has his hearing back now. Or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got their hearing back.
Look at these. Look at these gentlemen. And then I show the mummified fingers, if you will, or the statue fingers.
Ritual.
And
Yeah,
these
it
are
was.
the fingers.
Wasn't good.
That's what it sounds like.
This ring.
That's why.
It's the McDougal family crest.
Do you think the finger's part of the curse?
I don't know. Whatever those things are now, they were the McDougals.
How could you have some cursed finger though?
I don't know. How could those things exist to begin with?
Dr. Clarence, do a
Maybe it's the ring.
Constitution.
48 over 50. So I'm okay. Normal.
What do you guys want to do?
So in any event, gentlemen and lady, I want my finger back.
Well, I know where they
the
went.
gun.
Are you feeling all right, Lloyd? As I look into his eye.
I mean, I'm not like out of control, but you're seeing a bit of like a,
I was just concerned.
1,000-yard stare. Those things, they can't exist on this world. We need to make sure they're gone.
I agree.
Well, they went that way.
No, I know exactly where they went, and I'm gonna go. Like we need to go get these things.
I'm grabbing the
out of
shotgun
room.
and I'm reloading.
Can I use my first aid kit to see if I can kind of try to bandage Dr. Sapien's finger?
That's a very humanitarian thing to do.
Aw.
And I'll use
I don't know why
medicine
none of us
to
thought of that. We're just like, yeah, deal with this.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it, but
And can I use my medicine to assist and go, yep, do this, do that?
I mean, I was already handing weapons over while he was still struggling with that thing, so I can't say anything. Lloyd, I don't suppose you have a spare gun, do you?
And in my 38 revolver.
Do I need to roll for this?
Yeah, for first aid, yes.
And I assist with medicine if needed.
She's rolling on you.
Well,
No, you can't.
oh no, do this, do that.
Oh, I see.
Okay, I rolled a 15 out of a 30.
Okay,
Nice.
so you get 1 point back, Doctor.
Nice.
I'd like you all to do spot hidden rolls. You guys are breathless and you're
Never gonna pass this. Nope.
terrified.
I know, right?
07 out of 70.
That is a 98.
62 over 40.
I have a 21 out of 65.
Okay. Do you guys all have your flashlights still burning?
Yeah. Can we establish that Virgil's probably close to me, but I want to be close to the front with that shotgun.
Okay.
Yeah, we're probably at the front.
Well, you guys are using your flashlights. You're probably looking over towards where those things went. Your flashlights, you can definitely see that there looks like there is some sort of stone structure there, probably a well. And it's not that far in. It's not that big of a room. However, out of the corner of Lloyd's eye, as Lloyd, you're standing there and thinking about that, and there's the lights from your flashlights is where you're concentrating, but something about the light over here changes. And as you turn your head and look, something is coming down the hole that you guys came in. And something slides down to the bottom, and you realize it is a man. And he slides down quickly, rights himself, and he's got a shotgun, which he points right at you guys, and he fires. What do y'all want to do?
Probably
I'm
shoot.
dodging. I'm dodging for
I
cover.
want to try and fight back with my own shotgun. I see a shotgun, I'm going to try and blast it back.
Okay.
I imagine
I'm
that
gonna-
I was walking with the gun drawn.
Am I point blank?
You're both point blanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fire
Oh,
too.
no.
I'm gonna shoot over their shoulder at him.
Okay.
That is a 15 out of 65.
I got a 49 out of 40. If the 9 luck matters, I'll spend it, but otherwise,
I'm going to spend 2 luck to make that a critical success.
And I have 43
Because
over.
this guy in particular-
I have 43 over 40, so I'll spend 3 luck to also make it a hit.
Okay. You would have to get a hard, so Virgil, you don't need to spend the extra luck.
Oh, I don't. Okay. I'll put
no, I'm just gonna.
But Virgil, you guys all fire at the same time because you're all jumping. Virgil, why don't you go ahead and roll for damage?
Okay, so that is 1d10.
Right.
I got a 4.
And you're firing a shotgun?
It's a
or
9mm pistol.
9
It's a
millimeter
9. It
pistol.
just says 9mm,
That's,
and
yeah,
I just
it's
imagine.
It's a 9mm automatic.
Yeah, I imagine.
Okay. So you hit him, and he misfires. It knocks him off target, so he doesn't hit anybody. But he also, when he does that, he's going to turn immediately back around and fire again. So you guys have another chance, though.
All right, attempt number 2.
So mine, I needed hard to hit. You're saying? Because
What's
I was
that?
also shooting. Because I was
That was
also
only
shooting.
because of what he rolled.
Oh, okay.
This time I got a 27, and I'm gonna spend 7 luck at this point to make that
make
a hard success.
Okay.
Should I roll again if I'm still just standing up there?
You got a
Like
9
6.
millimeter. Yeah, you can roll again too.
Okay, I didn't know.
If you guys get a hard, you've hit him.
Okay,
I got a 31 over 40, so not hard again.
Okay.
I got
There's a lot
Um,
of gunfire.
I got a regular success that time with a 52.
17
Okay.
points of damage.
Okay. You blow a hole through his chest, and he falls to the ground. And this is the tall, blonde gentleman who you think you have identified as Sean Bannerman, and you kill him.
Hell, man, ye.
And I'll yell, someone get his shotgun.
I'll go
All
walk
right.
over.
What's
and
your
grab
next
it. I get the shotgun because I got a lot of skill in shotgun.
Nice.
What is your next move?
Probably go to the
The
well.
other tunnel. Yeah.
Okay.
Is the
The
well
other
there?
tunnel or the well?
The well, because that's where they went. That's where the monsters
Right, we heard the water noise. Yeah.
We shine our lights down there. Do we see water?
You get to the well, and you shine your lights down there, and about 10 feet down, you see the water surface. You can't tell. It's pretty black. But the only place where they could have gone would be down under the water somewhere.
So I'm going to take out the 2 fingers that I have and start waving them around, sort of like rubbing them against each other, whatever, making noises to kind of lure them out with the 2 fingers.
Nothing.
I'll raise you one more, and I stick my hand over the well, and I start doing this.
Is there a big rock nearby that I could move?
But I got my shotgun just at the ready.
There are big rocks everywhere. The danger is you don't know if you would trigger a cave in.
Could we fill this well in from above? Is there like above access or no?
Lads.
We could just cause a cave in intentionally.
That's what I'm thinking.
I still need to find the fingers, gentlemen, especially mine.
You want to go in that water? I'm not going in that
Clarence, honestly, at this point, it's a write-off. I'm sorry.
If it keeps gnawing like the ladies of the evening and like Gordon, my friend. I'll jump in the water to lure them out if necessary.
We got the rope.
Got a funeral.
Are we going to tie him to the rope and lower him down? Kind of dangle him over the water?
If he's insisting, then I'll...
If necessary. If necessary, my friends.
Is this really our plan?
It'd be like fishing.
Everybody do an idea roll.
Regular pass.
15 over
Pass.
55.
I passed.
Clearly my fishing idea is a good one.
I have a 15.
Writing about this years later, none of you can quite remember who came up with the idea, but it suddenly dawned on you all that the locals used dynamite to blow tree stumps out of the ground.
Yeah.
You might be able to get it right at the general store.
I think we just blow this place up. Make sure it never can be accessed again.
I think I know what happened when back in 1782 when old McDowell, the last McDowell son, blew this place up. He didn't. All the McDowell family, or what became of them, they all hid in the well during the explosion, and that's how they survived. That's what they've been doing this whole time. They've just been living down here as these things.
So how do you avoid that a second time?
More dynamite in the right spot this time.
Blow up the well as well.
We blow up their well.
Can we poison the well and then blow it up? No.
I mean, if you want to cover all our bases, sure.
Even if we blow this place up, do we have any guarantee that none of them are going to get back out again?
We don't. But do you want to go in that fucking well?
But
I'm not going in that
I know
fucking
how
well.
I know how we can measure our success. We'll just keep an eye on Dr. Sapien. If he continues to feel the gnawing every night, we know they're still alive.
That is a very logical conclusion.
Because we have gone over 4 hours, I just want to ask, what Ultimately do you guys want to do about this?
Get the dynamite.
Dynamite.
Get the
Use
hell
the
out of
dynamite.
here.
Long
All right.
fuse. preferably, so that way we could go down and put it right by the well and have plenty of time to crawl away.
And probably never show our faces in Dunval again.
And if there's any like poison, whatever, I'm going to pour everything down the well.
He's pouring
pesticide, whatever.
We got Virgil's getaway car outside.
Who has the most luck left?
I have
54. I have 54.
I have 41.
I think it's me.
So Virgil, do a luck roll.
Abigail haven't used luck yet, right?
I was getting ready to say I've never actually used any of my luck, so I've still got 60 luck.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Abigail, you roll a luck roll then.
You're so generous.
Okay, I rolled a 19.
Ooh, wow.
Nice. Okay. In the process of getting your dynamite and stuff like that, you're getting asked questions. Also, the gunfire and everything, it was loud enough that some of the people in town heard it and came looking. They found Sean's car. Anyways, the luck roll was if they're on your side. And in fact, they've long suspected that something horrible was going on here, and you've identified it and proven that it was there. So they help you, and you end up dynamiting the whole thing, caving in the well, caving in the ruins, and everything else.
Whew.
And I think you pretty much managed to stop it. Dr. Clarence, you never feel anything. And Gordon, that very day, says that the pain suddenly stopped.
So I'm going to give one of the fingers to Gordon and one of the fingers to myself and try to glue it on. So each of us have
glue it on.
Well, actually, I'll make that as part because it's part of the story.
And you create a new curse.
What Dr. Clarence, you realize is that the only reason you succeeded was because you dynamited them, and you must have destroyed whatever magic was doing it. But you realized you had to crush those fingers, destroy the fingers, so you don't really have the stones. You broke them, and that permanently kills them. All right, so that's pretty much the end of the story. I think Virgil had the right idea, or Dexter. So one of the brothers, way back when, the family fortune went down the hill, and one of the brothers made a deal with an elder thing, not an elder thing, but a dark entity.
Elder God
for gold. Yeah. So in return for gold, of course, it wanted I think the story says that it wanted children. And because they were all, born and raised Christians, he wouldn't do it. So he tried to get the priest to exorcise the demon, but that just made the thing angrier. So what the creature did, the entity did, was it snuck into their house. It didn't really have to say it's an entity. It came into their house and it stole one of each of their fingers. And it created a sort of magical spell around it so that they would all go insane. And then once they were insane and they died, then it dug them up and it placed the finger inside their stomach. And that caused them to transform into these things. So they were eternally cursed to be these things. Evan had managed to not be there when all this happened, so he escaped to the United States. But he still had all the gold from the fortune. And so that's what happened. McDougal came back. Oh, well, you were right. It starts before McDougal. May 29th, Bannerman arrives thinking, I'm going to go see if I can find some of this legendary gold. And he got bitten. I may have forgotten to mention that he also is missing a finger.
You mentioned.
I saw the doctor.
No, you mentioned the doctor had mentioned seeing him. So
right.
And it had pretty much driven Bannerman insane. And so he became a thrall of these creatures. And he started going into Halheim and picking up prostitutes, knocking them out and bringing them here so that the creatures could have more fingers. And that was the process that was going on. Gordon gets there, and he just sort of happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he gets his finger stolen. And then once you guys started killing these things and burning them, they sent out a psychic message to their thrall, Bannerman, and he came running with a shotgun to kill you.
Yeah.
If without crushing the fingers, the creatures would reanimate the next day. Even if you burnt all their bodies, they could reanimate.
The awakening if you'd brought it with you.
Take it with you, you have a new creature.
See, I learned from the ice cream incident to always be vengeful. Remember that time I wanted to break the machine? And you guys are like, oh no, don't break the machine. And look what it did to the little girl. So now I'm like kicking, burning, destroying anything.
And so that is the end of our story. Let me go ahead and finish it. Our players included Billy Chung, Raina Sham Sabin, Dexter Yoakum, and Ian Christensen, with yours truly as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 to a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.